looked like Mike Dillon just lost it and spun by himself, and then collected up a couple cars behind him, including Glenn Allen and Dale Earnhardt Jr. So I don't think Dale Earnhardt Jr. hit anything. Here's another look at it right here. We can probably see. He did. He touched the 59 car, Ron Hornaday, and got him turned around. And then Glenn Allen there was just a victim getting spun, trying to avoid it. And I think Dale just slowed down. I'm not sure if he hit anything or not with the right side. And then downshifted a gear and carried on.
All right, from the Peebles Department Store onboard camera from Hermie Sadler. Watching behind. And Hermie just misses getting tagged by the 99 cars with
3 and 4 deep. And Earnhardt Jr.
Whoa, Dale Earnhardt is in the wall. Slides up. Still no caution flag. He went up.
Tony Stewart and Mike McLaughlin, they were just rubbing hard down the front stretch here. I wouldn't be surprised if those guys didn't cut their tires down, rubbing on each other real hard.
Oh, that is the 44 car, the Shell Pontiac. As the white flag comes out.
Nobody.
Turn
okay, you're clear.
Beneath the high car of Tony Stewart, and Kenseth will come down.
Okay, rear hold. Nice job, man. Nice job.
Ouch, that hurts even to hear that. That was up.
Show you, those two cars are together. They go up, they make contact. Oscar will come down, spin to the grass as we saw him start off from, and Kevin Counselor continues on with damage to the right side of his car.
Himself. Bill, he's almost there.
And the crew waits patiently, and we'll find out if the car is running or not. Shelmerdine.
And Shelmerdine, oh, they do have a crash.
Big crash up in turn 2 between 1 and 2. Car still spinning.
Sandy Belmont.
Let's see what happened here. Well, there's contact. Belmont and Baldus making contact.
Baldus goes up the racetrack. Look, for some reason, the car just veered to the right. He goes up, makes contact with Belmont and all these other cars. We see Mark Stahl up the 32 car banging the wall. And another car spinning on the bottom of the racetrack. One more look. And there we see the contact between 18 and 40.
And way up high on the racetrack, you see the 83 car of Jeff Finley just squeezed around that crash and got ahead of it.
Now from Andy Belmont's onboard camera, we should be able to see good indication of what happened.
Man, did he have a run going or what? There we see Baldus.
Oh, we got a crash.
Oh, heavy damage up.
Mark Brenner. And Shelmerdine and takes second.
Oh, but Shelmerdine comes back, making contact, and they lose it. Oh, Bill Baird knocks it in the wall.
Baird slides up, barely hits the wall, does make contact, comes down the racetrack, and let's hope that nobody else hits him. It'll spin.
Well, Shelmerdine can't go down the straightaway as fast as these cars, but he can run through the corner. And Bill Baird is running the bottom of the racetrack. He tries to come down to his line, but Shelmerdine is there. And Kirk loses the back end, goes up. When he straightens it, he has to chase it up the hill, makes contact with Bill Baird, and I tell you what, I thought he was going to back this thing in the wall with a lot of damage, and guess what? Just barely touched it. I'm trying to figure out where the nose of the car.
Where the front end damage came, yeah.
Nope. Once again, Shelmerdine loses the back end, and when he goes up the racetrack, Bill Baird is there. And the 46 car just goes right by.
And indeed, we will get the 1-to-go signal this time.
Let's watch it from Frank Kimmel's onboard camera. Down the straightaway, he pulls alongside. Kimmel and Hillenberg run wheel to wheel, and Kimmel goes ahead by a half a car length.
Gary Layton, the 74 car, just needs to let these guys race it out in the corner, side by side. Kimmel,
Frank, bring it on home, baby. Bring it on home.
Frank Kimmel's going to win this thing.
Hillenberg's car slides up the racetrack and allows Frank Kimmel to get the advantage. Hillenberg takes a run, but no,
guys,
Frank Kimmel taking the win at the Michigan ARCA 200.
On the inside of Steve Holshausen and Jim, it looks like he just loses it.
Tight racing. Tony Raines was behind him in the 2 car, but Raines was on the outside.
Looks that is Mike Garvey climbing from his burning Ford Thunderbird. Milwaukee Metro, Milwaukee Auto Auction, Thunderbird of Garvey catching fire heading into turn 3. Look at what happened to Mike Garvey. He's the reason for this caution. Everyone checking up here. There's Garvey. He's already on fire, Jim.
There's the flames coming out the right side of the car. It looks like there's a fluid leak because the flame followed the race car. Pretty scary.
Locks up the brakes and then just scrubs that Jersey barrier on the right side. He made
pit stops. The guy's got him out, but he fell well back in the running. Rick Beebe now together, and Jimmy Johnson gives him a kiss on the way by.
Seneker, Noodleman, and up on the high side, Billy Turner, Ricky Bilder back, late notice, and having to...
Yellow car in the middle of the screen, trying to work around Dave Sensiba. He just gets to the outside, but there's Tony Raines. So they lock it down as they made contact wheel to wheel. Joe Knott with a solid kick in the 1 car in the left front.
Jimmy Johnson got him a little bit, too. We'll have to keep our eye on the 44 car.
We see Noodleman trying to refire his car. We'll take one more look at it.
Now, watch Beebe's car jump here. That's what struck me. Right there. It looks like he almost had the back tire, even though these are fendered cars, the back tire of Raines.
He may not have seen Tony Raines and was just planning to do the outside pass on the lap car bound spawn when he found some contact and couldn't gather it back in time.
Well, as we've already said, these guys race on the edge. Here it is inside Beebe's car. You saw the first contact there, Jim.
Might have been Raines with touching the right front wheel of Beebe, so it wasn't Beebe coming up. It was actually Raines and Beebe making...
Second Lacrosse Speedway, the rookie, Adam Petty. And the 45 car gets into the 5 car of Steve Holshausen, trying to get the lead in turn 4. And he's going to back off, and he's got problems on that car. Hard lick into the turn 1 wall.
Steve Holshausen unhappy with the contact over at 120 miles an hour here, Dave. We see off of turn 4, Petty going inside for the lead, but drifts up here. They make contact.
Now what happens to Adam? That is weird. He might have picked up speed on the grass as he came across and was unable to control it, but wow. It just didn't look like he had anything that wrong with the car when he headed for the Jersey barriers. To turn number 1.
Goes high in turn 1, and there's Tony Raines in the 2 spinning. Actually, as they both went high, it looked like Raines just was saying, I'm taking the outside line, and Peter took the line away, and Raines tapped him and sent it.
Now, you could argue that Cozzolino didn't pick a line. Holshausen and the 52.
Whoa, Holshausen spun for no reason. Hansen was putting pressure on. They were 6 feet up. Notice there's no difference in the line. Now, Hansen goes in, but Holshausen was already gone.
Boy, that looks so much like Hansen's wreck a few years ago at Toledo when he was leading the race, got into some oil. Yep. Here you are on board with Steve. Here's what it felt like.
We're in the fence up there between 3 and 4, guys.
To give Jamie some support financially.
Here's a good look at what happened. Harold Fair inside of Billy Turner. Didn't agree on who should have that line. And Eddie Hoffman, with nowhere to go, locks it up nicely.
Wow.
Just a little tap on the 80 car.
Hindsight's 20/20. As Eddie Hoffman locks it down going 90, all I can think of is if he kept it on the gas, he could have those guys split far enough. But we're sitting here.
Gap back. Battle for third to the line. Hansen will be the winner. Sensiba, then Sauter, then Raines.
An accident, but we're just happy to be back.
What does it feel like when you watch these pictures? Is that you in the car, or is that some other guy?
Well, that's me, but I'm kind of glad they got the video. It gives me something to watch and learn from maybe, and see how the safety equipment held up, and everything did its job. The car stayed in one piece, and the steering wheel, which was no way Simpson's fault on the gloves. The gloves were still perfect shape. The foam wrap on the steering wheel liquefied.
With 121, Judy Bates. Remember Judy's name. We will see more of her, several others involved, including the late arrival on the scene. I hate it when that happens. Kerr turned down the ambulance ride. Everybody's over. Remember Judy Bates? There she is, upside down for the 2nd time in 3 nights. She's okay. Start of the 25 stretch. That is Eddie Kelly.
And just as he got into those lap cars, that thing blew up big time right there.
Well, it sure did. A lot of...
Wise.
Oh, boy.
Wise. Wise. wise.
Louis,
What?
just say the line.
That's what I'm doing.
No, you're not. You're going wise.
These are my interpretations of the part.
This isn't Shakespeare. You're replacing a stressed-out frog.
Hey, Frankie, you know what they say?
What?
There are no small parts, only small lizards.
Nobody says that.
I do. I say it all the time.
Bud.
Wise.
Bud.
Wise?
You heard about in the heat race with Rick Williams. They would both make it back for the main event. Fast qualifier Tony Jones, Bubby's kid, knocks down Jim Naylor's wall in the heat race. He's done for the night. Let's go to the 30 lap. Up with everybody else. That was Troy Klein who puked a wheel. Somebody's going to do the Tommy tip over. It's Corey Kruzman. We go 11. Here it is in replay.
He goes down on the inside. He looks like he's up plenty far enough for Tracy to see him. And you can't tell from that angle whether Tracy pinched him down into that dirt or not, but he definitely got down into the dirt, and the front end pushed right into the left rear of Tracy Hines, and that's what caused him to make contact with the wall.
Hines ran over the right front of Hamilton's car. Remains to be seen what kind of damage that might have caused. There's the run into the dirt. You saw the wheels locked up. He was trying to stop it, but he slid right up the racetrack into Hines, and around went Tracy, clipping the wall.
Yeah, it appears that he was clear up beside him as they entered that corner, and Tracy couldn't tell whether he came down and forced him into the dirt, but definitely what caused the front end to go away was the fact that that left front hits the dirt. Let's see if we can see from here.
Red car.
Can't see. Red car on the inside. He's right beside Hines going into the corner here, and it looks like he had room. Tracy gave him room, but he did hit the dirt with that left front, and when he did, the car slid up the racetrack, and he made contact with Hines.
Steel. Big crash. That's Darrell, I believe, who's gotten upside down in the middle of that big mob of lappers, and the thing went twirling on the roll cage, and they're going to angles.
Oh, you can see right there, Darrell got a little sideways, and then he was hitting in the right rear and turned him right straight into the fence. That's Derek Davidson sliding around down there in the mud in that yellow car. Darrell turns back over and gets going again, but Pat Abold also made contact and got stopped back there on the back straightaway.
Abold trying to miss it all. Here's another look at Darrell's ride as he had already gone upside down, twirled around about 3 times on the roll cage, and then the car finally caught and rolled back over onto what's left of its wheels.
Let's take a look from inside the car with Billy Puterball as we head down that back straightaway. There you can see him get into the fence. He got a little sideways, and somebody tapped him in the right rear, turned him right into the fence, and from there, it's a mad scramble as everybody's hard on the brakes trying to miss him and all the pieces flying around there. There's that fiberglass leaf spring you can see flying right out of the race car.
So much for the
Well, Doug Darrell coming off at turn 2, for some reason turned into the fence with the right front tire, got up on his lid and kind of spun around like a top 2 or 3 times, then flipped back over on the wheels and came to a rest, clear down entering turn 3.
Darrell had started the process of unsaddling, pulled his helmet off. Here's another look at it. Second yellow car.
We thought maybe that Derek Davidson, that yellow car, had tapped him right there. But Davidson says that car just turned to the right, got a little wiggly, and just turned to the right and got upside down. So remains to be seen exactly what caused that.
That's Davidson sliding down into the dirt. Pat Abold also spinning further back in the pack, basically trying to avoid contact with anybody or perhaps getting caught up in the debris. Memphis Motorsports Park, and win it very handily indeed. An impressive day.
Turn number 4. Whoa! Upside down goes Hutto. Igniting the engine on fire as it rips the oil line off. Taking the yellow light at the flag stand. He'd be ready to play when you come here. Hutto survives the wildest ever.
And the driver in second position always, we got an engine blowing as they head down in there. The 19 car of Kevin Counselor loses an engine and backs it into the fence hard with the left rear corner.
Evidently, everyone was able to see that side.
He started down the inside. He did start to the outside, moved to the inside, and lucky he did, because if he'd have been right behind him there's oil all over the racetrack. Counselor gets in his own oil, slides up, and bangs the wall hard with the left rear corner. But he could have very easily taken both of those leaders down if he just if they'd been happening. He was way high on the racetrack, and he tried to keep the thing under control. Just too much oil, though, and he got the tires in the oil and backed it into the fence. Did a lot of damage. You can see the streak back there behind him where he was throwing oil.
Heavy contact for Kevin Counselor starting to green, and as the green flag came out, Andy Belmont got loose coming off of turn 4.
He just got way high on the racetrack, tried to turn the steering wheel, get it back down into the groove, and when he did, the back end came around. And as he came around, he tries to go around Gerhardt. Gerhardt's a lap car, and it's 3 wide. We talked about how wide this racetrack is. Well, it's not quite wide enough for 3 stock cars to go into turn 3 as Gerhardt got turned around up into the fence, and poor old Frank Kimmel just could not.
Jack trying to work lap traffic.
Oh, the car in front of him took him up there.
Steve Stevenson in the 6 car got hard on the brakes, and Shaq went up, and it looks like he may have made contact. He's got this one in hand.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Finley's got to be very happy, though. First ride in this car, he brought it home second. You can't do a whole lot better than that.
A great job for Bob Shaq as he wins the inaugural race here at Memphis.
On down the front stretch, and I don't know if there was
not make the start.
And he comes off the corner all by himself, and just around it goes. And there we see the contact with the inside retaining wall as he now brings his car to the, there we see from the speed shot as he slides down to the inside retaining wall.
Long gone up there. Here's how it happened.
Oh, Houston just came off the corner. Houston came off the corner, lost control. We'll watch this.
There you'll see it.
We'll see it from Biffles. We go into off turn 4. Now we see Houston lose control. Oh, he got the truck loose and had to back off the gas, and that's when Biffle just ran up on the back of him.
Biffle got into the back of Houston after Houston backed off of it, and it was in the same young Jamie Skinner.
Around he goes. We see Stacy Compton go on the outside, Ron Barfield on the inside. Brian Rucker gets by, so does Tony Raines. All the other trucks split the 5 truck.
No caution at that point. So we jump on board with Barfield. Around goes Houston.
Skinner.
Ah, yeah, that's right.
And this is Tony Raines as he sees the same spin. He says, which way to go? Okay, I'll go on the inside. He was also, and we see a spin coming off the corner as
who is it?
And there we see Scott Walters, the 37 Red Man truck. Around he goes.
Woo! Around and around and around she goes.
And he almost missed that inside pit wall. He almost missed it, but unfortunately, Boris Sid sees this and goes. Not much to see is
here's the incident for Bouchard.
There we see the contact between Joe Buford and himself, and around he goes, and all the other trucks luckily able to avoid Bouchard as he was spinning.
Scraped her on the way.
Oh, we got another crash. Lance Norrick is spun up in turn 3, but no caution. Oh, now another truck. Jamie Skinner is spun off turn 2.
This is the wreck of the night so far. Here they come.
Lance Norrick, hard contact.
Here's how it all happened.
The first truck that spins is the 91 of Carl Long. We see Joe Buford in the 70 there, and Lance Norrick just plowed in the back of Boris Said in the 44, and we see Butch Miller in the Dana Dodge down on the inside with heavy damage to the nose of his truck. Listen to Boris Said as he goes in turn 3. Listen to this.
Hit in the back.
Hit in the back. Here, listen to this. He goes in turn 3. Well, wasn't too bad, was it? He was off the gas anyway. At least Biffle didn't tear up to see what happens to Brad Teague. Well, there was other trucks around. Exactly what happened, I don't know, as Kenny Bouchard goes down and misses him. We receive the leader.
Dave Resendes, and we take a ride with him here and see if we can figure out what's going on. Ah, a little contact with Rush. That'll do it.
And he goes down and gets the inside wall. I mean, he was trying his best not to spin out Lonnie Rush, and instead spun himself.
Look how that 16 truck speeds through the middle of the corner.
He comes off the corner for the white flag.
White flag will fly this time by, and for Ron Hornaday, it is half a lap to home. The final lap at Bristol Motor Speedway. He's driving away from Jack Sprague as expected. And Hornaday, on his 40th birthday, on Father's Day weekend, claims that
into the wall, turn 3. The 40 tries to spin. That's Andy Belmont to avoid Alexander. Caution is on the speedway.
Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd say.
That's real close to a three-pointer there. Wow.
He did punt him right out of the way. And there's Andy Belmont, because he saw Alexander was in the groove where he was going, so Andy just put it into a broad-sided Alexander. You see, he sees Blaze right where he wants to be.
He goes up high, gets in the loose stuff. Watch the flaps and all on the front of the car employ so the car stays down on the ground as he spins around there.
Here's how it looks from ground level. There's Blaze spinning. Cicchetti goes by. Here comes Belmont. Right there.
Yep.
That's tough to catch us. Kimmel, they're battling for 8th and 9th right now. Oh, and around goes the 30 machine of Mark Voigt. We are going to have caution on the speedway. The Illinois driver, oh, and he kicks across the racetrack. The 9 is Brad Smith.
Stay down. He's going back out in the racing surface. You see everybody scrambling on the inside.
Mark Voigt.
Ooh, Tim Steele just did make it by there as Voigt went around backwards into the wall. He just did clear. You could see, wow, you could see the 9 go by.
I wonder if Steele might have helped the issue.
I don't know, but he was very, very lucky that car spun to the outside. A flat track, though, you normally slide out into the wall and then veer across the racetrack. He was lucky to stay up. You can see a lot of traffic around him there.
Couldn't tell if Tim Steele might have nudged things along there, but he was certainly in a prime position to do so.
As I was saying that, he went straight back across in front of about 6 cars.
And then Smith goes right back up the track again, and Blaze Alexander there goes around him. Looks like I had a built-in chicane right there. Well, he's in the middle of that mess there.
Ow.
Gets bumped by Kurt Piercy in the 10.
Kurt should get an Emmy for that save just then. I tell you what, he was completely sideways.
For the Arcabando Marhide Series. Oh, in the grass, can he hang on? Bill Baird going around.
He better stay down out of the racing surface, which he did. He right there, bobbles about twice on the wall. Very, very good catch by the driver.
Remember, Glenn has our camera. Watch this.
Ow. That's when you go, boom. Good job, though. He did not.
Here he goes. Just the rear end brakes loose on him.
Yeah, once he got in the grass, you can see it jumping in the air there. And he's really lost control right there. You can see he's fighting to keep it straight. And the more he fights, now he's starting to wiggle. Now watch it come right around on him.
And that was the reason for it. No mosquitoes down there either, by the way.
I can tell you his competitors would have liked to seen him get on the return road there coming through the preferred
car. But he's beaten it all. He's back in victory lane. Tim Steele wins at Pocono. Steve Burns is down on the camera.
Jimmy Gross sees Scott Weaver's car going up in smoke, and this is what I was talking about. Visibility is very, very limited. And we see Gross is one of the cars that backed off, went to the apron of the racetrack, and he can see nothing. And NASCAR said, look, some guys lost so much space on the racetrack.
Experiencing the problem.
There we see Kelly spinning around, coming down, and boom, just at the last instant, the car noses right into the inside retaining wall. Doesn't look like much. It did. And so far has not made contact, and no caution flag.
The wall.
He's hit the wall, and that will bring up Shirley. Oh, Shirley through the caution. Yes.
There it is.
Now that will allow Hutto to catch up.
Hutto was about 3 car lengths in front of the leader. Here's how Hutto got in trouble in the first place.
Well, we see Jake Hobgood slipped up the hill, and Hutto dove on the inside and trying to avoid hitting Hobgood, turned the car too sharply, spun himself out.
He sits there perpendicular to the racetrack, looking at the flagman, saying, throw the yellow, throw the yellow. Didn't happen.
Right along with Ernie Yarbrough as he goes by, says, well, there's another spot.
That's one more guy I don't have to pass. And here's the second incident.
And Barnes looks like he breaks a right front spindle. Looks like he came off the corner and the right front spindle broke and just in the outside retaining wall because that tire was not connected to the car.
He was up on the outside, and a good thing, too.
Oh, it's the left front. It's the left front.
There. Oh, okay. Well, I guess that would.
Here's another shot of it.
Another look at, yeah, it's busted loose right there and pitches him right into the wall. And then as he backs down off the racetrack, he actually runs over the wheel. There's a near miss.
And there we see the car run over the wheel and it leave. Man, he slams in that inside wall.
A lot of damage to that car. And our 5th yellow flag of the day. What was it?
Down in turn 1 and listen. Car with the back end knocked down to for hair as he just gets by on the outside. Off the second corner. Oh, and is that the leader that spun or Jimmy Gross has spun? Trying to avoid, I guess it's Jimmy Gross. Is that 26 or 28? That's 28, isn't it?
28.
7-car spins coming off the corner. Now then, Hutto is trying to get his lap back. Cars are going by, but meanwhile, Swaim comes off the corner. And we see Swaim as, I don't know if just he spun for some reason. Here comes Hutto and runs in the back of Mike Swaim. Let's see if we can see what happened to Mike Swaim.
Oh, I hope it isn't what I
thought. Oh, yeah, he gets
thought.
bumped by David Hutto. Around he goes, and Hutto will run into him once again.
Now watch, right there goes your new leader. That was Rob.
Goods has spun. Looks like Jake and the 64, and is that Chris Hall in 33? Trying to push Chris Hall. Oh, we see that a little bit of a bump.
Little tap.
From Mike Swaim is what sent Jake Hopgood around. Jim, you're not here today. Jim, you can go back to the wedding now.
Hall obviously trying to run right on.
Tell you what, this is. Whoa, and he goes around. The rear tire just comes off. Looks like he broke a hub or something, and all those cars sitting right in front of him. The tire.
Like from Swaim's viewpoint, man.
Goes around, hits pretty hard with the left side of the car, and there we see the tire bouncing around. And he's facing all that traffic as he goes by, and hot go. Another shot is all of a sudden the right rear tire just leaves.
Get another look. Here's the scary part. You don't want to be facing that.
Holy goes. Hard cut now down the inside wall. Heavy, heavy contact, and the caution flag is out. And there we see the contact, just slight contact, but enough. And, I mean, he slammed that wall. I'm talking about Christian Elder in the 21. Heavy contact. You see debris flying every place.
We see it all the time, Benny, in the Winston Cup races here. It doesn't take much of a nudge. And that car on the outside is in the wall.
Yes, heavy damage.
Here's the one that really tells the tale. I think this should be Christian Elder's bumper cam view. Okay,
now they're going down the front stretch into turn 1.
Boom. Here's where it finishes.
47 car, he loses a tire, wheel has broken a wheel or something. Wilson, the 47 car, and all of a sudden, a tire just leaves the right front. I guess he broke I would think, broke a right front hub or possibly a wheel. And I thought that he hit the wall. Actually, he did not hit the wall.
Doesn't look like he did. No.
Yeah, did a great job getting it off the wall. Talking about Will Hopgood, but Bryant finds the back, but he can't.
Oh, and Jake got into Bryant big time.
Big time, heavy contact with both those cars, and other cars are spinning down the inside. 65 car, he goes by Bryant, and Bryant he backed off the throttle. I don't think there was contact with Will Hopgood. He backed off because he didn't have his angle right to get off the corner, and he was trying to slow down so he could get off the corner properly. And Jake just plowed in the back of that 5 car. Look at that.
Looked like Jake stayed in the gas because he thought he was going to be able to get down low enough to get by him, and maybe the front pushed up just a little bit. Boy, when he hit him hard because Bryant was out of the gas trying to keep the car from turning around.
Another
Watch
shot.
him here. He's trying to go underneath him. Thinks he's got him cleared, and then it just pushed up, washed up the racetrack.
That's right. You're exactly right. He thought he was going to be able to just drive under, so he was mashing the gas as hard as he could. And meanwhile, there's that George Crenshaw in the 07, the white car, and another car spun on the inside.
Get the wreck back there behind him, trying to miss the mess.
Oh, Jimmy Gross is one of the cars I see, and there comes Crenshaw. Oh.
For him as they work turn 3 and 4. The high banks at Bristol. The checkered flag is out, and Robert Huffman from Fort
right
there.
My, it looks like he and Earnhardt may have had slight contact there, sending Schrader into the wall. Bobby Hamilton just comes by and misses Schrader on the inside on the grass there. To come down just a little bit, they make contact right there. Earnhardt's under him just enough. He couldn't tell he was there. They make contact. Schrader, you can see him hard into the outside wall on the driver's side. He comes back across the track. A lot of cars coming by.
Irvin on pit road having, there you see they get together and then spin off. It goes wide.
Tries to hold the throttle on into the hard. Whoa, I'm telling you, it's a hard lick as he comes through the tunnel turn there.
Sure is.
He was lucky not to spin the car. You see him fighting to get it back straight right there.
Renedu.
That almost looked like a wheel come off that car.
Oh. Some high-dollar sandpaper there.
Caution is on the speedway for Jerry Nadeau's problem. It's there, it's just not doing anything.
It's there, you can see right now, it's just not doing anything.
That wheel's not even
exactly
turning.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not turning at all. He's just grinding away the bottom of the race car.
Well, so it goes for fuel mileage questions.
Oh. Wonder what's going to be left of that chassis when this hits.
They extinguish that Goodyear Eagle for second.
Oh! Chad Little in the wall.
Chad Little running 11th.
That's Kenny Irwin Jr. on the inside. They make just light contact there. I don't think Little could see him underneath him. They made light contact, and there goes Chad Little hard into the outside wall.
Down in turn number 1. Yellow slows the race.
So the caution.
Very fast cars. He draws within inches as they head down the front straightaway.
For the lead at Pocono. And Jeremy is eyeing his first career win. The 91.
Whoa! Todd
Bowes
lost it.
Caution.
He didn't hit anything.
No, he didn't, and he's safe.
So far, anyway.
He shifts up right there, gets back to the throttle. That round comes back in. Now he's fighting it, trying to hold it. You see the cars going by him. 360, gets it back, goes through the grass, starts shifting gears again. Hit a length back. Dale Jarrett about 2 car lengths behind the 24 of Jeff Gordon.
The fans just eating it up. The tunnel turn for the last time. A mile and a half to go.
You can see how hard Gordon's trying there. He slid the car off the tunnel turn, trying to catch Mayfield.
It has taken him 125 times, and we've got a new first-time winner in NASCAR Winston Cup racing. Jeremy Mayfield wins at Pocono.
About uses it to good advantage, makes the turn in the Zippo Chevrolet into the right-hander and has the early lead over Fellows. And we've got trouble right off the bat. Sid has spun off. The pole sitter has spun.
Look at that. There we got another car. That was the 10 car. Phil Parsons just spun and hit the inside wall. They were about 5 or 6 wide coming down the backstretch, and we all know that it's not the way to get around Watkins Glen.
Started for Sid.
Boris got the jump down into turn 1, but got just a little too loose right in the center of the corner there, and looks like everybody started checking up, and it doesn't look like Boris hit anything, so he might be able to continue.
Boy, Santerre did a spectacular job of missing Sid and then ran out of road and got the left side into the wall. Here's another look at it. Boom, there's the connection for Santerre. Now, over on the inner loop, just a little bit later.
Matt Kenseth and Phil Parsons. It looked like Phil Parsons might have checked up, and Matt got into the back of him a little bit and got him spun right down the backstretch.
There was a wild scramble in front of them. They're about halfway back in this pack, and watch them go 3 and 4 wide. And difficult to tell how the contact might have occurred, but it sent Phil Parsons turning right into the middle of that pack, and I can't believe nobody else got involved in that. That's amazing. Well,
they're heading towards the inner loop there, and it just seems like when they all went about 4 or 5 wide, everybody started waving their hands and checking up early, and Matt tried to get a run and just got into the back of the 10 car a little bit and sent Phil off to the inside wall. Wow.
Oh, that was a group affair. That's Cope in the 30, right at the point where we saw at the top of the show that he got spun.
He got a little bit of a wiggle there. got the car turned around sideways and backed into the gravel pit. Now watch what a good job this gravel pit does of slowing that car down so it doesn't hit
A race car on fire there.
I think we got to stop talking about these guys who've been having great runs up front. Every time we talk about them, it seems like they have trouble right after a pit stop or something.
Bobby's the owner of that car. He says, I got to get this fire put out. It has flared back up, and he said, I need an extinguisher over here, guys. And there's one coming. Bobby is the owner of the car. See if you recognize the names of any of the people who own the sponsoring company. Mark McGuire, Danny Schaefer, Gary Guyette, Andy Bennis, Hal Morris, and Pete Sherrick. You know any of those guys?
Yeah, there's a couple familiar ones in there, and they better be careful opening this hood. Bobby took his helmet off, and that fire could flare up as soon as you open up that hood, but the safety workers are there and doing a good job putting out the fire. And he might be experiencing a little bit of a loose race car, or he might be just driving it for all it's worth.
We got a spinner up there. We got a couple of them, in fact, the number 4 of it.
You can see Brian Wall there getting turned around, Elliott Sadler involved, and Jeff Purvis looked like he tried to avoid.
Flag is up, and it's history. The Busch Series has its first ever Canadian winner.
Onboard just in front of you.
Onboard Fred Bear in the Keybank Pontiac. You hear him feathering the gas because he and Tim Taylor were uncertain. Well, Taylor was quite certain as what he was going to do with it.
We've got one car blown a tire, hitting the wall, going into turn number 1. And I think that is the Taylor into the wall. That'll bring out a yellow.
Car that's been ill handling.
Taylor with a shower of sparks coming out of the back of the car. He was running up in 18th position, fighting with Noodleman.
Tough break for Tim. Again, he ran a modified here. He probably has more
screen fighting with Joe Knott's number 1.
Joe Knott running his line, Tim Taylor running his. Taylor did not go as high as Joe Knott had thought he was going to in the turn, and they made contact wheel to wheel, right front to left rear. Taylor in the wall as a result of it.
Scott Hansen takes the checkered flag. Mike Edwards.
Some flames from the 3-car Rudy Reback, who was one of our early spinners.
And that's the gear. The gear in the back of the car has gotten extremely hot and
Awry very early here in this event, spinning, and now
Frank Morawski comes off the corner, nails the gas, and around he goes. But he stops before he hits anything, puts it in gear, and drives away.
No. The eye of the hurricane.
There we see just a little contact from John Metcalf in the 0-5. And around goes Darrell, and Metcalf lucky to get by without being involved. There's Bird on the black car on the outside. He gets in the corner a little too hard and nails the brakes, and around he goes, and he cannot get the car started with Herschel up in turn 2, and he almost turned over and flipped around. Oh, almost. He's an acrobat, that Herschel is.
I'm telling. Started in 1945, a member of the original Southern 500 starting lineup, and this is how he got into trouble.
Almost turned over, but it sets back on its wheels.
He was the Winston West champion. What happened?
Well, there we see him, and just entering the corner, those two cars got together. Dyer goes around as Chris Rodman goes by.
Very, very close call for rubbing the tire as it was a while ago. And a
big crash. Wow.
That's Jim Pettit. Hard. Here it is once again.
And we see no contact, just lost the car. Out of that groove and one. Oh, man. Heavy contact.
Jim Pettit, the second from Prunedale, California, is the driver involved in the incident.
Just loses control, and when he comes back into the tire barrier a couple of times, and folks, it's easy to see why road racers have trouble with Sears Point. This is a with the advantage, and Petty slides off. Crafton just pulls in and knocks him into the tire barrier. And can he get the car moving? And we see Portingate dives to the inside. Has position going in the corner.
There was no contact whatsoever between Portingay and Petty. It was Crafton and Petty that got together.
And Steve Petty thinks it was Steve Portingay.
Yep. From another angle.
And we see Crafton just squeeze into Petty, and Petty into those tires and knocks him out of the way, and not able to get his car going again.
But Crafton's car also suffered some damage. He damaged the left side of it.
Tommy Hubert, our pole sitter, sees this. And right there, he makes some contact with Jamoni, and man, he slams the wall just at the start-finish line with the right side of his car.
Oh, he just went straight. Maybe a
like the right front? Yeah, like the tire went flat or something.
No contact between him and Germoni, but man, he hit it hard. All right. And yet other activity. This is the 31 of Ed Lashkoff. Boy, he got airborne, didn't he?
Wow. Man. Did he ever? He almost went in for in. Woo. Oh, there's a little bit of a bump and around goes Steve Fortingate.
Well,
car come back out, they accelerate, all of a sudden just in the back of Steve Fortingate, and around he goes. Another shot.
Doesn't take much of a bump from the Pennzoil copter cam.
We can see what a run that the 30 car was able to get, and just right in the back of the leader, Steve Fortingate.
And now from Hubert's onboard camera.
Right in the back of Fortingate. Cunningham that goes in and gets in the back of the 12 car, and around goes Allison.
Hubert giving him a bit of a push.
Matt Crafton's car sitting on the left side. Now, can he outbrake?
We're going to decide it here in just a couple of seconds. Shepard may try the inside move. Don't think he's in the right position. Nope, Peterson wins the battle off corner number 11. And here he comes to the start-finish line. And Ken Peterson wins it by, less than a car. Track because of this moments ago.
Robert Presley coming in there in a hurry and into the tire barrier with the right side of the race car.
But
the number one in yellow and two cars are in the wall in turn 4.
Move out, pace car.
Side one of the Menard cars, Robbie Buell. He sees trouble, but he's far enough to the inside that he has no problem with the two cars that get sideways in front of him.
That first car was John Paul Jr., who may have brushed the wall, and then it was collected.
Another shot here. You can see John Paul up there out of the groove for whatever reason, and then Kenny Breck is right behind him.
And here's just the tail end of it at the exit of turn number 4.
You can see the fire. I don't know if you can see the fire in John Paul's car. So he either had fluids or something. In the warm-up this morning, they had some kind of engine misfire. Again, you can see him down low. He gets sideways on the exit of the corner. He tries to apply the power, and the horsepower in these motors and the torque and the cold tires just knock that thing loose at the back end.
At the top of your screen.
Again, top of the screen. You can see him already jumping sideways, and again, his day is done. And unfortunately, he's going to have a little more time to get to that next race than he wanted. Right in front of him, Jack came down on him, and it must have surprised JJ a little bit, and the car just turned around sideways. You got fire
from your leader, Jeff Ward. But he just turned a lap at 153.8 miles an hour.
Well, the next one isn't going to be that fast, Mike.
You got a fire on board. Car 35 to the pit. Copy, control.
Now that's race control, Mel Harder. Again, all the teams monitor that race control frequency.
It's a pretty good system.
One of the reasons right there.
It's a great system safety-wise. Ward might not have felt that, might not have realized he had a problem, but again, with that kind of communication, it can save him from a serious problem.
Dick Berggren.
Jeff Ward is in. A lot of smoke coming out of the back end of that car. They go right after it with the hose. A lot of smoke in the back of Ward's car. Tremendous smoke down here.
Miller. There's Jack Miller right there. He gets sideways right in front of the leaders in lap traffic. Again, you can see the skid marks. There's probably some other skid marks, but I don't want to illustrate those.
Another look at it.
Again, Jack Miller in front, right in front of the leaders. He just gets on the throttle in the exit of the corner a little bit too hard. The chassis didn't want to accept it. He's locked it up. No real big damage. Jack just exiting the corner, try to get
2 cars, 3 cars have crashed.
Car 1 is at the start-finish line.
J.J. Yaley was one of those, and he was collected.
Top of the screen, there's JJ there. He's getting sideways, getting into the corner, and it's starting to stack these guys up. Oh, he just clips. Is that Bo that he just clipped? I mean, Billy probably thought.
Oh, that's Donnie Beechler piling in on the inside.
Yeah, Beechler was real late. Here's another angle. The green card's already backwards, spinning. This is towards the end of that situation. This is at the very end of that whole mess.
Donnie Beechler had a really tough crash in Texas where he ended up upside down in that 5th lap incident.
Again, this is after it's pretty well gone through. Yaley started that right here. Yaley starts it. He had a slow spin, went to the outside, and then they just started stacking up behind him, and the guys didn't quite catch it quick enough.
Inside, Buzz Calkins, back straightaway. One more car perhaps to pass before the start-finish line. Scott Goodyear has done everything to track him down, but he's run out of laps. Tony Stewart wins the Pep Boys 2.
Go get off the course. He got in the corner too hard, but he still got the lead. But there goes Jeff going by him, and several cars will go by. And it's like a little contact between the 11 and 17.
Hornaday slams into those tires.
But he apparently got it going.
Wow, that's going through the S's.
Nice stunt, guys.
And watch this at the very start. Watch what they do. He's supposed to turn left, but guess what? He had too much speed, could not make that left. He goes down through the dirt, across the racetrack, tried to stay in the lead, but unfortunately could not maintain the speed. And went up the hill running all by himself, so obviously was having some problems. Gets in the corner, and we see the left rear tire is completely flat on his car.
Apparently has run over something and cut it. Well, it looks like that maybe he and Dallenbach might have had a little bit of contact.
It looks that way. I
Makes
think
a 360.
I think that Ward Burton, let's see, from Dallenbach's onboard, we see contact, Ned.
Yep, that's contact.
What happened? Ward Burton in front of them got in the corner too hard and slid the brake.
It just veers left on him. Something must have broken.
Yep.
A tire went down or something broke and just shot him straight into that bank.
From his onboard camera.
Let's just listen. This is going through the S's. Yep.
Spun coming through the S's.
And we see that tire go flat, just exactly as you said, Ned, and backed it in the bank.
Battle for 3rd position involves
Dale Jarrett, and they contact, and both goes around into the pole hard.
And that is an area of the racetrack you don't normally
on the inside of Dale Jarrett. And they're going along, and all of a sudden they make contact. And then the cars just, they hit tires. If they just hit sheet metal, it'd been okay, but they hit tires, which basically, I think, knocked the wheel out of Jeff Burton's hands, and the car just went sideways. And we saw when he backed in the retaining wall that he actually cracked the wall. There we see, when they touch tires like that, he just jerked the wheel out of his hand.
Now in a separate incident, let's jump on with John Andretti.
And you see Ken Schrader runs into the back of Kenny Irwin. Irwin's car, we saw it smoking going up the hill after that.
And there you can't see anything other than the car just made contact.
I thought those were portable barriers, but that's a solid concrete wall. They will go get a couple of...
Try to go on the outside.
Oh!
And some contact.
Jeff Bodine and Ricky Rudd collide. And position 2 laps down. Here it is.
Wow.
Close call for Bobby Labonte.
Man, I'm telling you. I guess Jeff was just trying to beat the 43 car in.
He was down pretty low. getting into that corner. Of course, you go in there low, but you normally go high and then low, but he was down pretty low, and Rudd had taken his line that he normally would come in there and right down in front of Bodine as he came down through there, and wham.
Chute, let's see where it was. That was in the chute.
Yep. And we see him in the gravel trap. And I tell you, he's lucky the car did not mire up in there and stay there. And he's just about to go in the, oh, he's running over all kinds of signs there.
He sure is.
He wasn't through spinning yet.
23rd of 83 NASCAR Winston Cup road course races. He won it from the pole position. Still 2x2 coming down. Oh, flip upside down and fire.
Big problem. The driver was out of the car and walked away. He is now on the stretcher. The crews are taking care of him. We will report you
in front. Whoops, we sure do. And somehow Jay Drake, it looked like.
Yeah. You can see the Derek Davidson on the outside, way up in front there, right to the very left-hand side. He just got sideways. He just spun coming off the corner, and oh boy, Jay Drake barely did miss that. The other two guys couldn't get turned in time.
All of a sudden, the back end got out from under him.
He just got loose coming off the corner. Nobody's fault except his own. This racetrack, a lot of the drivers think it is a little slicker since they've paved it. Maybe he just didn't take into account that, whoa, he's not the only one that got a little sideways, as the leader also up there was really sideways, and that was Gordon Rogers. He caught his car. Unfortunately, Derek Davidson was so far around. Oh, and you can see right there, Jack Hewitt made a left hand.
Oh, we got a big crash.
Oh, 4 cars in the middle of that thing. That's Ron Kohler hung up in the fence over there. His car wanted to go out and have some fun and looked like he was doing great until this happened. You can see Jack Hewitt went very low. Some smoke came out of the car, like something was right there. He's on the brake. The throttle must be stuck on that race car. He was hard on the brake, and he ran right up into the side of Kohler and couldn't get the car stopped. The other cars right behind him, you can see Heidenreich. He climbed up over the wheels of Hewitt after the accident really had happened, and Brian Tyler got into it as well. Let's take a look from a different angle. You can see him coming down there. I think right there he got on the brakes a little bit so he didn't run into the back. Then I don't think he yet realized that the throttle was stuck so much. He gets into the corner right here, and you can see he's on the brakes. He's on the brakes for a long way trying to get that thing woed. Just went right into the side of Kohler. Kohler had absolutely no choice. He, you know, nothing he could do at that point. He got into that catch fence. You can see the engine's still running in that thing. See it how it's jumping around? Yep. The engine and the throttle are still stuck. That's what caused that car to jump after it got stuck in the fence. But Heidenreich went over the wheel up in front of him. And let's take a look from Brian Tyler's point of view. I mean, you can just tell how quickly everything happens. This is in slow motion. Brian Tyler sees this happening. He's trying to get his car woed and get out of the way, but he just can't do it. He gets into the fence before he can get stopped, and you can see he went under all the debris and still had some damage to his race car.
Or used to, didn't it, when he was here years ago?
Well, they were looking at the videotape and theorizing he had something wrong with the car, but for whatever reason, he kind of came up there and gave you a boot. Tell me what it feels like.
Sounds like NASCAR.
Yeah, okay, well, whatever. But tell me, what I want to know is what it feels like to take that ride and go airborne and hang yourself up in the fence.
It's just like a carnival ride, but abrupt end there. You have a quick stop. And thank God, the almighty upstairs, I'm all right. No broken bones and just some sore feelings, probably.
I'm real glad to see you back here.
I'm fine. I'll be back. I got to get me another car. That's Kenny Irvin's car from 1996. Right. And it was a good car. And now it gives me...
Next stretch, and he's coming around to see the checkered flag and a win here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. There's the checkered flag, and it is all over. Tracy.
Caddy in this tight pack here, we go back to see contact with Tim Sauter in the 9 and the 07 of Landis. So Landis was appearing to try to come down on the racetrack in their position battle for 5th.
As we for the second time see Jack Landis in trouble up in the 07 car, and Billy Turner in a car that he just recently prepared to come racing in 1998, Jim, and Landis has a fire.
Jack's car skidded along the wall. He slowly gets out of the car.
Starter Steve Farmer there with the yellow now, as Landis will pop the hood open, and safety officials rushing over to the scene to get this doused. Jack okay, obviously.
Smart move on Jack's part. Again, a longtime short track veteran does not pull the hood up, because that could increase the flame and feed oxygen to the fire. He pulls the hood pin, so when the safety crew gets there, it's one less thing they have to do.
And most of what is burning under there, just wrappings and tubings and things like that, things that they can easily replace at this point, but at the same time, Jack's interested in getting this thing put out.
Boy, think about how strong that team is. They came in, ran second in practice, qualified second, outside row, one of their best career qualifying effort, now Landis out early.
Well, as Jack works his way down the banking, it's been a bit downhill lately for him. We're going uphill upon Harold Fair Jr. It had a pink front bumper. Adam Petty getting into the back of Harold Fair Jr. right there.
Off of turn number 4, Adam Petty with the fresh right side tires. Remember, he came in under green and lost the lap.
Here's a good look at Mike Miller now. Problems. Miller around as they both had to check up for Tim Sauter. Sauter very slow in turn number 3 is Rick Beebe. And big trouble on the front straightaway.
4 cars involved, make it 5.
And flames now on the 31 car.
Gus Wasson in his first ASA race, his first stock car event, backed it in the front stretch wall.
And a flash fire there. Safety crews immediately into it. On board with Jeff Foltz.
Jeff Foltz did receive some damage. See the car sideways ahead of him for a brief moment. It's the 31 car of Gus Wasson. Foltz goes high in the air. He actually got some air on the right side. Nicked the Harold Fair Jr. car as he went through. And here's another look. And look at how high Foltz got in the air. And that really ruptured. It actually pulled the back of the 31 car off. Might have got the fuel spill. And then Billy Turner's impact causes the implosion.
Let's take a look at it full speed now from Jeff Foltz's angle.
Straight, hold straight, you're doing fine.
Wow.
It happens in
on the front straightaway, the 8 car of Mike Garvey, who was embroiled in a battle up in the front of the pack, and Gary St. Amant with trouble
in the 4th position here behind Jimmy Johnson. He just flat out gets loose off of turn number 4, and Rick Beebe locks it down in that yellow car as Garvey slides in front of the field, really.
Wow, look at Sensiba taking inside action and just clipping the front end of Garvey.
And we see Harold Fair skidding by. He had a flat tire by the time he reached the backstretch with the car that already lost front body work.
You're riding with Rick Beebe, his perspective.
He tapped Dave Sensiba. Sensiba skated through pretty much under full throttle. It was happening so quickly there. Now we see Harold Fair. He's trying to make his way down pit lane, and here comes St. Amant. St. Amant's trying to accelerate to get next to the pace car to pit, and Harold Fair locks it down and trying to get to the infield. Gets in the way of Gary's path to the infield pit area.
Wow, undoubted. My goodness. Oh, what terrible luck for Gary St. Amant. Jim, we were just talking away from Sauter as well. Mike Miller, trouble on the front straightaway.
Joe Knott spins and a hit tag by Steve Holtzhausen. Kevin Noodleman involved.
Oh, my goodness.
Bob Sedeker involved in his same spot before the patch off of turn 4. Scott Hansen locking it down, thinking, okay, do I go inside, do I go outside? Long slide down the straightaway here at I-70 Speedway, and he locks it down, and you'll see the 1 car of Joe Knott come in the screen here as he goes flying by backwards.
Worst spot to be in for Mike Miller, driver's side door, pointing at the speeding field coming down the front straightaway. Joe Knott clipping him, and then Steve Holtzhausen clipping him. That was the damage they were repairing in the pits.
Bilderbach. Wow, a lot of cars. Now notice how they're racing too wide here. They're not strung out after this most recent restart, and as he slides all the way along here, there's about 20 cars within full view of the front stretch, seeing Miller slide it down and lock it down.
And on the outside, Tim Sauter getting involved in that, previously undamaged, now has perhaps a little damage, and Noodleman climbing on top of Knott's car before he came to a stop. Here's a third look for you.
Look at how many cars are right behind Mike Miller from this camera angle off of turn number 1. We see Joe Knott spinning to the inside as he may have gotten some help, but as it turns out, he helped him a bunch. And we see Steve Holtzhausen sandwiching the 1 car there, and as the smoke clears, 2 cars that remain. Spin on the front stretch, Cozzolino hard. At full song, Cozzolino lost it, and swapped out of them is the 40 car of Cozzolino. Look, he all by himself for the 3rd time tonight. A driver loses it while running in the top 5, and that was a heck of an impact, Dave.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Let's look at the stripe on the wall that feeds. Off of turn number 4, Adam Petty keeps it pointed straight. He will win the Kansas City Excitement 300.
Number 16, just 4 laps ago, Sawinski, the 55, was in his way.
He was, and just behind him, Rick Crawford hooks up on the right rear. You can see heavy contact there. Both trucks able to go on, but that was a lick and a half on the front part of the...
Look from the view we had out of Compton's number 2 as the 14 of Crawford spins. This and Crawford were together. Crawford spun. Garvey goes down on the flat there.
Boy, Anderson just got by in that red truck as they spin by each other. No contact between either one of them at that point on the racetrack. Going down into turn one, Greg Biffle on the outside in the 50. You see the 3 just went in so hard he couldn't turn. He gets up in the loose stuff. Hard contact into the outside wall. That truck may look like it's running out there okay, but I'll guarantee you he has some chassis problems.
Right going by.
Jay Sauter right behind him. He's already broke loose a little bit. Sauter did not start that spin. Boris did that on his own.
Now let's see what Boris saw. Looking back to Sauter.
He's very close right there, but the back starts to sail out right there.
I think he did that last week at Watkins Glen also in the Busch race.
Started on the front right
about now.
He says, I've led 91 miles and have done it in fashion. Mike Bliss of Milwaukee, Oregon will post his 5th career win in the series. He wins the Milwaukee 200. It does a 360 plus another 180. Backward. He was running in front of LaJoie.
Randy LaJoie got into the left quarter panel there of Kensington. Around he goes. Luckily, did not make any contact to the outside wall, but he definitely made some dents there on the right front.
Looked like he got a little bit sideways there. Maybe got a little help hard in the outside wall. Really hard there.
He had Hooper going by to the outside, but it looked as though they were cleared, and look at that.
I'm telling you, that thing almost got on top of the wall there.
That concrete wall don't move a bit, does it, buddy?
Nope, I've tried them.
Really hard to tell. He was already out of shape there and just went hard to the right.
Here in the 74 car.
Around goes Foster. Around goes Foster, and he couldn't keep it out of the wall. In 36th spot already.
Just light contact getting in the corner there, and around went Foster. Now right into the outside wall with the back of the car.
And, buddy, he was in the outside of that groove there, and there's not a lot of in the turn number 1 and 2 there. Just gets up high, gets a little bit of help there from the McFarlane car and spins around. Fortunately, don't get into the wall. And
there you see him on the high side of the racetrack. Now watch him just get into the wall with the right rear corner. No parts fall off. That's the reason there's no caution.
I had looked up and I saw him slowing. I didn't quite spins. Hornaday spins.
Yellow zone.
Caution. Krogh spins to the outside. Hornaday to the inside. And the yellow flag was.
There it is, getting real loose. Is that Danny? Yeah, Danny Smith right there. He gets spun back around, and then upside down he goes.
Boy, and this is his first race back after a hard crash, too.
We got another look at it. Here it's already started. Watch the left side of your frame.
There he is. No place for these guys to go in the back. Clips, turns him around, he gets hit. Boy, oh boy.
Now Danny has climbed out of the
flat right rear tire over here. Is there anything else that's going to keep you out of this feature?
Yeah, we're done. It broke some of the rear end suspension parts. I don't know if we can fix it quick enough.
Sherry Cup number 12.
Problems turn 1. All sorts of action there as Tim Connolly is right there with our camera car in the number 4 machine. One of a couple of cars caught up in the accident up there in turn.
There's Tomeno ahead of Cravino. Oh,
Cravino got into him.
Got in the back of Jamie Tomeno going down in turn 1. Tim Connolly had nowhere to go.
Cravino is in that Mario Fiore-owned Gulf machine. He ticked the back of Tomeno. Watch right here.
Just a late try to get on the inside. Realized he couldn't make it. Got back in line and made contact.
Just caught him on the right rear corner there, and that set him away. But watch this. Connolly trying to avoid him on the high side. Goes up in the air, nearly over.
Takes a heck of a lick into the wall. Right here, he knows he's in big trouble.
Blew the left front tire just before he hit the outside wall there. That knocked the steering out, and that sent him straight into the...
Coming off of turn 2, looked like the 32 car broke.
Yeah, Tim DeRoyne right there in the middle got through.
In the 57, Oh, I see. The 77 was one that looked like he spun around and everybody checked up. Just in down the inside lane. He couldn't do anything with his race car. Trouble on the front straightaway.
As we got Trevino there involved, among others, here comes DeRoyne spinning his automobile as well. And caution is on the speedway. There's Trevino breaking loose, the 44.
Ted Christopher coming right through there, going up in the air in the 13 there. Look at the damage to the front of his car.
Just a billiard shot right there.
Yeah, the 44 got just a little wide. Might have got up into the marbles and lost the back end. And ricocheted off the outside wall, and Ted Christopher just had nowhere to go.
Marvin in the 07 will spin.
Teddy's really very fortunate that wasn't a worse accident. He easily could have got on his lid.
There comes DeRoyne into Marvin. Now from our speed shot camera. Boy, he launched him.
He did launch him. He's very, very lucky there with the flat tire that he had. It's a wonder it didn't dig in and start turning over down the front stretch.
You see DeRoyne did not spin of his own doing.
No, the 00 car got in the back of him.
He was hit by the 00 of Tim Airy. That's the white machine up against the... Here at New Hampshire, he's the point leader. Wants to pad the advantage. He wants his 7th win of the year. Off turn 4. Can Lady make a move? No. Stefanik holds.
They get the buzz in that right rear. Look, we got a caution coming out right now.
Caution on the speedway as the 59 spins. That's Lou Rettenmeyer. The 3 is God's car. That's guaranteed overnight delivery. Up in the turn.
See Riley breaking loose there in the 3, backing up the racetrack. Everybody else trying to avoid him. The 59 there, Rettenmeyer gets sideways. He turns around, and then the 59 or 52 of Jimmy Sizer.
So they have all spun. Here's what the in-car view looked like from Martin Truex's car. There goes Riley, Jimmer Seeger, Lou Rettenmeyer.
Wow.
Man, you got to kind of pick your way through. Last caution near the top of your screen. Spinning around right there was Kerry Anderson, then G.G. Gravel in the 54. And the 66, Dennis Phelps, who got together there or came darn close. They eventually do get together in turn number. Caution on the speedway. Another spin on the restart. Jeff Barry is the number 22 car. The 52 is old Jimmer Seeger again. So those two machines spin in. Let's see what gives here. Somebody on the flat.
Someone got in the back of Jeff Barry's car there. Spun Jeff around. Hard impact into the wall.
There goes the 52, and watch, Marquis just got by to the inside. There, Jimmer Seeger in the 52. Second win of the year, Kelly Moore wins it.
Jason Leffler, he's sideways into the grass, not even a caution.
Now, he just come up on a really slow car, got on the brakes real hard. But Dave Darland's the guy that had the big problem. He threw a rod out the side of the engine. You can see all the smoke and fire, and he oiled down the racetrack.
And guess who shook?
Ricky Shelton down on the bottom of the racetrack. He tries to sneak in under Lynch. He gets way down on the flat. When he comes back on the banking, he slides up. He clips the left front of Lynch. Lynch bounces off the wall back in front of Klepper. Klepper had absolutely no place to go, went over the left rear of Jason Lynch. Let's take another look at it again from a different camera. And you can see he gets out of the throttle and doesn't hit him going into the corner. But when Lynch pushes the front end up off the bottom, he goes clear down on the flat part. When he comes off that flat, that's where he starts sliding. And he just clobbered the front end of Lynch. Lynch bounces off the wall. And Klepper, very, very lucky, he didn't get upside down right there. He'd had a little more speed, he would have gone right over that and been upside down, and that would not have been a good thing.
All of this happening as the white flag was showing with one more lap to go. We take a look at it from another angle. That is Ricky Shelton on the bottom in car number 71, moving up and hitting Lynch, who goes into the wall and then right into the path of Klepper, who gets up on the back wheels and then goes down in the fourth turn and spins. Let's talk to him. Here's...
Oh, he broke something.
Whoa, hard into the wall is Dave Steele. Hard contact with the right side of that car.
He might have had a right rear tire.
Look at it once again.
You can see right there, he hit the outside wall and blew the right rear tire. That's exactly what happened. He got a little bit too close to that wall. It ripped the sidewall out of the tire, and as he went into turn one, that baby just wouldn't turn. It just went right straight into the fence. Right here, you can see he just got a little bit close right there. You can see the smoke come off as he just barely touched that steel guardrail, and when he did, it blew that tire, and he could not turn. And boy, he slammed it sideways right there.
He had a hard, makes contact with the wall and blows the right rear.
Yes, you can see that he might have damaged the right front as well. Looked like there was...
Got a little help from behind and went flipping in the front stretch. A little later, East Coast modified driver Ron Smoker ran into Travis Wellpot, flipped, and wound up on his noggin. A few laps later, David Bridges and Michael Lang touched in the same area and did a beautiful pirouette down the backstretch. The only driver to get higher than them was Eric Gordon, who was unhurt in this flip during the semi. Now here's the incident and the feature that stirred up the timbers. The 71 of Ricky Shelton touches the back end of Leffler, who then flips after receiving a second blow from Hines. You would have thought that Hines had had enough, but a few laps later, he touched wheels with Shelton, began to spin, and then provided a launching pad for Robbie Flock. We look at it again in slow motion. Watch all four of Flock's wheels go over Hines' machine. Unbelievable. 4 laps to go now, and Donnie Beechler loses the lead to Kevin Doty. But Doty won't stay there long as Shelton touches Beechler and then goes to the low side to get around Doty for the top spot. Ricky held off Doty for the win, and their incident earlier, wild finish to a very wild night of racing. Chest car. Does he expect to draw anything from that experience?
Not much.
Got a couple of cars hooked together. That's Fred Treadway.
Yeah, there in the back. Oh, there was a tangle up in front of these guys. Everybody tried to get out of the throttle, and Treadway was just trying to stay out of this thing. And Jason Lynch went up over his left rear. They got his right front caught inside the left rear of Treadway. Treadway's standing on the throttle trying to keep that thing going, but he's already...
For the USAC National Midget Series, and the 95 car of Brian Tyler gets a good jump on the rest of the feet and onto the backstretch.
Oh,
there's the problem.
You can see the walk-up went up over a wheel, got into Kenyon. Those two guys are sitting there in the racetrack. The other two trying to miss him. Back a little farther.
Trouble right there, midway down the back straightaway. Everybody wants the same piece of real estate, guys. Oh, it looks like Spencer went wide. The 23.
See Kenny Irwin right there going round and round.
Then along came Ward Burton. Lake Speed woed down, but it looked like the 23 might have been the first one to kick out. Let's watch it again.
Yeah, Jimmy Spencer definitely got into the 28 there of Kenny Irwin. You see that's Ted Musgraves there spinning around also,
and
the 16.
Ward, right, Ward Burton.
It has not been a pretty first few laps. There have been several occasions.
Steve Grissom, the 41, gets tired of Lake Speed.
Whoa. Say Lake kind of cut that tire down. You see the back end of the car get real loose as the tire goes flat, and around he goes. As of right now, he hadn't hit the outside wall, so he's able to... Oh, he got it back.
That's what Ward Burton saw from his view.
Gordon, but right at the moment.
Oh, trouble. Bodine in the wall. Lake Speed, Nemechek, Spencer in the wall. There's fire from the Steve Grissom machine. Hut Strickland is in the 96. Gary Bradbury driving through the carnage. And you see Grissom moving around. Lap 34, caution. You had Spencer, Lake Speed, Nemechek's machine. If we can pinpoint it. Here's the setup going down the back stretch into turn 3.
That's Jeff Bodine going high there. Andy Hillenberg in the 91 under him. Lake Speed just behind him. They make contact right there.
Hillenberg and Bodine got together, and that's what keyed it all.
It just started to get sideways. He almost had it saved until he and Hillenberg made contact.
You can see Bill Elliott right back in this area, just creeping through there, avoiding everyone in that wreck.
Watch this. And from high overhead, Hillenberg and Bodine. Strickland into speed.
Yeah. Spencer's just behind there in that cloud of smoke. No, he has no idea where to go. Grissom there in flames there in the 41. Yeah. Now into the outside wall.
Jerry Nadeau is right behind. Let's watch this. Look at all that beating and banging. You would have.
I was trying to steer out of the wreck, but you just hit the oil, and I had the wheels cut, and it just kept going straight. So, just real unfortunate. This whole Bell South team has been working so hard, and it's just
go up there and turn forward. Just kind of got a glimpse of that as he was alone going into the wall, as best we could tell. Then the other end of the track, watch Ted Musgrave.
The 16 there on the outside of Kenny Wallace. Kenny Wallace loses the back end and gets up into Musgrave. Musgrave turns around and goes hard into the outside wall.
Ooh, he did nail it.
That was a good lick.
Yeah.
Videotape replay.
This is a contact sport today. You see Johnny Benson getting a shot there from the 21 of Michael Walter down in the corner.
Benson's in trouble. Flat left front.
Left rear to left front for Johnny Benson goes down.
Track bar, trouble turn one.
Rich Bickle in the wall. Second time today he's been there. Caution, lap 221. Well, so much for fuel strategies. Rich Bickle.
See Bickle just in front there. You see the smoke coming out of his car as he heads straight up towards the wall. Looks like he may have gotten in his own oil.
Waiting for the first win of 98. And what would be the fourth career NASCAR Winston Cup win. The last one last September at Martinsville.
She was talking to him down the back straightaway there on the radio.
It's taken him 22 races to get back to victory lane, but Jeff Burton has done it. He repeats here in New Hampshire. Jeff Burton.
Second. We're back with more at the beach in a moment. One of the cars bouncing off the wall. Tony Stewart, his second trip into the fence here tonight in the Shell Pontiac. Stewart belted the wall evidently up in turn 4. He's about to lose the right front on that machine. So Tony Stewart with a tough night going on. The Small Soldiers, the new front quarter.
I think so. Well, no, right there it looks like he got into some fluid or something. Looks like he might have. I don't think he blew a motor.
Hard into the wall.
I still think he might have cut a tire there. We can't get it right there. That might have been the car behind him putting on the brakes or something, laying some smoke out or something.
Fastest on his first lap of qualifying, but slammed the wall on lap 2. Brian Reffner got to the outside of turn number 3, spun to the inside wall. Now both those trucks have been repaired. Not so lucky Stacy Compton exiting turn 3. He gets into the outside wall, put that truck on the trailer, and went to a backup. Oh, up in the high stuff.
Yeah, it looks like his wheels just got up into loose dust and gravel there, and he had no traction, and right into the wall he went.
There's McGlynn on the inside.
And he hits him, and that just shoots him right up into the wall, and then McGlynn spun to the inside of the racetrack and hit the wall pretty good. You're right. I don't think with the damage that was done to the rim and the wheel, it had to do some other damage in there. There it is again. Just a little bit of a tap as they came off the turn. And McGlynn tries to get it squared away. You can see the 51 truck go by there. Tammy Jo Kirk, she was able to avoid it.
Another look at it. Camera on the backstretch wall. And I'm going to have a hard time pointing the finger at McGlynn, because looking from the in-car view, he's pointing to the right side. He's pointing for Dobson to go by him on the outside. And he's just now look at inside the back window of that truck.
Right there, you can see him. He was pointing to go by on the outside, but about that time he got hit from the rear.
It just appeared that Dobson had too much.
Now we're looking out of Reffner's truck, and I don't know if the contact would have been made back before there, something to shoot him out there. It didn't look like. And look at the fire after he'd hit the wall, and you can see him scrambling around in there to get out of that thing, but the fire quickly went out. Evidently, when he cut the end, the light blue truck right there just goes into the corner, and it looks like that right front tire went down on him. Boy, he hit that wall almost head on. Here it is again. See, he goes into the corner, and all of a sudden it just takes off to the right. He has no steering or traction. He perhaps has steering and trying to cut it, but I believe the right front tire went down on him. Got very high off the turn, almost got into the wall, spun it down onto the inside into the ground.
Seventh incident of the day brings out the 8th caution flag here at Nazareth Speedway. Lap 123, Boris Said on the outside, way on the outside.
And right into the wall he goes. Spins sideways, and look at this scramble as trucks try to get by him. He's right in the center of the groove, but everybody gets by. 4, that on the inside like he's supposed to be, and all of a sudden it just takes off to the right, and it does act as if maybe the tire was going down the right front. That's the way it looked as he went in there, and then he just scraped the wall pretty hard on around turn 4 and 5.
And he'd already carried a bit of momentum into the corner as he pounded the wall in turn 1. Doric made it all the way around to the pits. Hard shot, slap shot.
Knocked that rear quarter panel in on a tire, it looked like, in the right front. Banged up also, a little fire coming out there from the brakes.
That truck is getting to the inside, and when he reached turn 1, he flew across the curbs, and a melee broke out that knocked 3 cars out of the race. Here's the view from Bobby Rahal's car. Watch the upper right, incoming. So Moore finds himself on probation.
So far, everybody through clean. That's Tony Kanaan spins around, doesn't take anyone else out. I think Robbie Gordon trying to do a Buffalo Boy around the outside, all clean.
Greg gets out here in the grass right there, spins the car, goes around sideways, pretty harmless, stops, boom. 1 car connects, 2 car connects, and then the Hogan car of J.J. Lato collects him in a big way. Everybody else has to drive through the debris.
Now the pits were open. Greg Moore was the fastest man in the morning warm-up.
He's trying to get stopped there. He's going to the inside of the track where he wants to. Jourdain runs over right there. The Alumax car of Castroneves over there. And then J.J. Lato, nowhere to go, just takes the whole front end right off of the car. Everybody else you'll see come through the shot right now, right up in here, having to...
But Tracy got out. He is connected with Al Jr.
He's powering out right there. Allenser Jr. is trying to go around him. Paul Tracy gets sideways, hooks him, puts it around. That looks like Paul Tracy there. He was behind him. He had to lift.
Danny, when he left...
What happened?
It looks like he just got out of the groove up in the gray stuff, and there's not enough rubber up there to keep traction, and just kind of looped it.
And some heavy damage there to the left side of the car, but they're trying to repair it all.
No.
Here's Andy Belmont, and the reason for the caution. This was up in turn 2. Looked like he might be able to keep it off the wall, but no.
No, but you got to remember, Andy didn't pit on the first.
That's right.
When all the leaders pitted on lap 50, Andy Belmont elected to stay on the racetrack, seeing that, and he was on tires that were definitely probably just had too many laps on it.
All right.
I don't, you know, I just in the right corner of the picture, you could see there was a car on the outside of him that looked like he might have just clipped him with his right front. That's what.
And Tim Steele, and got up into the loose bill and just lost it.
Well, I think, you know, you're running there, you're being lapped, you look in your mirror, all of a sudden these 2 fast cars are coming up on you, you go into the corner, all of a sudden they go past you like that, and you lose your concentration. It looked like you just got up in the loose stuff and spun it and hit the wall.
Okay, well, Bill, as I said, he was battling for position, and Dill Whittemore is right there behind him.
And you can see Gary's in this slide. You're kind of scared. You don't know if you're going to really turn around or not. And then all of a sudden you get in the gray stuff, and sure enough, it snaps the car around. Yeah, it looks like they got into the corner and Dill just touched him. It wasn't intentional. You can bet.
As they come out of corner number 2, but Bill has some speed down the straightaway if he can prevent Kimmel from getting a good run here. He's going to be able to finish in second position. Off the fourth corner comes Tim Steele. He wins, and Bill Baird finishes second. Frank Kimmel finishes in third position. Kite.
Oh, yeah, he had already got in trouble. That looked like the 70. Brooks all of a sudden just slows way down, right in the groove. Dan Drynan tries to move to the outside, just didn't get out far enough, went over that left rear wheel, and man, he hit the fence a ton.
He sure did.
That brand new race car is not going to sustain that very well. You can see him moving around after the contact, though. He was okay, but he hit that thing very, very hard, and really there was just not much he could do. Brooks was still in the turn to the right. You're running 140 miles an hour while all this is happening. And there you can see he hit that thing with the right front corner, tore the heck out of it, really. And he's going to have lots of work to do to get that thing back in running condition. And it looks like maybe he got so far below the white line that he pushed up into Ray Evans. We said Ray Evans cut him off, but I think he got so low trying to get by him that once he got below that white line, he came up and touched Ray Evans' left rear and did that half spin. A terrible.
Spinning down the front stretch.
Loops it around and comes down across the racetrack.
Well, there we see the entire field coming by, and we see Michael come off the corner. Looks like he's all by himself, just lost it off the corner. And let's see if we see anybody back there making any damage, any contact with the wall. Don't see anyone. He's still steering that thing through the grass, isn't he?
Look at the cars splitting, and they're trying to all crowd up high. There's Hooper going beneath him, along with Mark Green, the 37 car.
Here it looks like Patrick Carpentier going in underneath Robbie Gordon, locks him up. They turn, they make contact, still get around the corner. Here we go. Adrian Fernandez, right of your screen, trying to slip up the inside. Now, here, right here is Michel Jourdain.
Alex Barron on the left.
Barron, who they're going to make contact almost. Alex Barron locks him up. Touch here. Touch the inside of the wall. Gets it up on two wheels. Arnmeyer in the yellow car. He tries to slip through. And then look who. J.J. Lato runs into the back of him. And Andre Ribeiro stops. Then we have another.
Good results. Thank you.
We have a problem in the pits, Gary. Tony Kanaan, we've been watching his stop, shielding his eyes from the water being splashed on the car.
Well, what happened there is he pulled away. That's on fire. That car is on fire. When he pulled away, it twisted the hose sideways and sprayed. We're on board with Alex Zanardi. That's it. Locks it up. Doesn't make contact. He did not hit his teammate.
Salas locked him up and made contact with Al Unser Jr., took flight, and found himself on the sideline.
Catbird seat.
Oh, look at this. The first corner down there, he just got on the throttle too much and just loops it. All by himself, nobody down there, right on that concrete. He tries to spin it around right there. It looked like he had it. Now, Michael Andretti comes here inboard. Look at the gap he has to thread through there.
I
don't want to touch the... How he didn't touch the nose of that car. And look at Jimmy Vasser in the red car. Comes right here. Where does he go? Look at this. He slides in. Does he get around? No, he drove over him. He drove over him. And Alex Zanardi passes Jimmy Vasser down the inside.
To the inside goes Tracy. Heavy contact when Fernandez turned in.
In ARCA, but coming through the ranks of ARCA is not for the faint of heart. Oh, what a terrible wreck. Oh, we have contact on the front straightaway. One car is absolutely disintegrated. Tomorrow, the starting lineup that he wouldn't be back there long where he started. Big trouble in turn one. Two cars into the wall. Gary Weinbrower in one. That's Glenn Morgan's machine that's trailing the fire behind it. There you see the fire extinguishing itself. Maybe a little bit of oil came out of the car. And we have caution for the first time. Well, what was behind him was extinguishing itself, but what is still from the front of the car still flaming up there a little bit.
That looks like it's probably fuel because it's a Chevrolet. The fuel pump's on the right front corner. Usually when you hit the wall that hard, the right front frame will come up, break the fuel pump off the motor, and that's usually just fuel running out. It's not really a big hazard because it's just the fuel that's in the fuel line itself.
See if we can get a look at what happened here, Bill, and try and dissect what went wrong. Right side of the screen. Is that the Weinbrower car that went around first? That's both of them went up there together.
You couldn't really tell which one had gotten around, had gotten sideways first, but because they were both together by the time we saw them coming up to the wall.
I guess when you go off down.
Yeah, it's really hard to see because both cars are all. I could see that the white car, which is Gary Weinborough, started to spin, but as they were entering the corner, Glenn Morgan was right on his bumper. You can't really tell if he got touched or not or what happened, but, you know, once Gary started to spin, there was nowhere for him to go, Glenn Morgan to go.
Now just ahead of those drivers in that very first lap, Andy Belmont there. We mentioned he had some problems in drop back.
Yeah, I had thought it was transmission problems. We didn't quite see that, but it looked like David Boggs and him got together going into the first corner and the first turn. And
wrong for him. That's down in turn 1.
Looks like it just got down a little too low, hit the grass with the left front, and it kind of just spun the car around. He's got a guy helping him. If any of you old ARCA fans remember 1981, Larry Moore or something here, that'll be a sign that he blew the tire.
There it goes.
Yeah, there it was. See, I said, watch the right front corner. When you see it explode like that, you know he just popped the tire.
That's too bad.
That could have been that. I'm almost positive that was caused because of what had happened earlier in the race. Again, you know, Jeff had made a comment that the car was going to be pushing off the corner, and you can only run maybe 15 laps if the car's pushing.
Gerhardt hangs on to trouble. Frank Kimmel, the point leader, hard into the wall in turn 1.
Him and Bobby Garrett looked like they got together right in center 1. Frank, just, yeah, it looks like Bobby started to push up going in the middle of the corner. Just clipped Frank Kimmel with his right front fender and spun Kimmel around. He hit the wall with the driver's side.
Here's another look at it. Very hard lick there for Kimmel with the front end of his machine right at that left front tire. That's tough.
Boy, I know how that one hurts. I've met that corner before.
Little 160-mile-an-hour meeting with the outside wall there for
Look at
Frank
that car
Kimmel.
get
all
off,
four wheels
off the ground.
Wow. Kimmel 310 points up on Mark Gibson for the side Frank Kimmel's car.
Oh, that hurts.
Bill Elliott, into the wall. Shelmerdine hard into the wall in turn 1.
He came off of the first corner, and that car just shot up to the wall. I don't know if he blew a tire or not, but there was no hesitation. That car just came off the corner and hit the wall hard.
A glorious drive to an inglorious ending here at Pocono. 4 laps shy of the finish.
You could see the skid marks? He was on the brakes hard already before he hit the wall. So that wasn't something where he just came off the corner and the car drifted up and he kind of got a little loose and hit the wall. Something had to happen because he was hard on the brakes, probably 30 car lengths before he even hit the wall. So he knew he was in trouble. Let's see if we can see it at this angle. Well, I don't know.
Right up in there.
Right up in there, but you know, it's hard to say if he just got up in the gray stuff, but you can see there were skid marks, and that's usually a sign that the driver knows he's in trouble.
Bad break for Kirk Shelmerdine. The 40-year-old former NASCAR Winston Cup champion crew chief got his first ARCA Series win earlier.
And got together. That's all there was. Up there in turn 2, we're getting set for a restart.
Didn't look like there was too much damage done to either. Well, we see him up into the wall, and then it goes around on him right in front of some traffic. The traffic went on by. Here's some more going by.
Morris said Rob Morgan get past.
Right there, it choked down on him. He couldn't restart. Hit hard, though, on the outside, pancaking the whole right side of that 20 truck.
Second career start in the Truck Series. Run to the fence. Jack Sprague got into the side of Pack right after them. Sauter down to the inside. They touch. They hit. And up into the wall is Refner. Caution is out. Hornaday across momentum. Here they come.
And Sauter down on the inside got together, as you said, with Refner in the 66 truck. And Refner was the one that came out on the short end. Well, really, both of them came out on the short end, but Refner got the worst end of the bargain.
And Refner had done nothing wrong.
No. Not really.
It was when
Sauter was trying to get on the inside. Okay, here they are coming into the car.
Boy, that tells the story right there. Whoa.
As we said at the top of the show, the difference
is going to be big. Stay down low, and you did. Went right through it.
One thing you do.
Yeah, Bugshaw's coming off of turn 4. It looks like him and Dave Resendez got together there. Bugshot was on the inside. Looks like Matt's already spun out. No, that's Glenn Allen spun around there, and Matt and Kerry Earnhardt put on the brakes to try to stop from hitting him and got themselves in trouble there. You see Glenn Allen spun around there, and just unfortunate for Matt and Kerry.
Glenn Jarrett.
Where you see the back of Matt's car there, they're coming off. Oh, yeah. See, Mac just got out of the gas there. He saw what was happening in front of him. I don't think Kerry saw that. He's running to the back of Mac. Just piled up there, and you know, like a chain reaction type deal. But like you said, he's got a motor problem developing. He's been smoking.
Just the car by, I knew immediately what was wrong. I smelled that smell. I smelled rear end grease. And I'm going to get away from here because it's working its way up toward the fuel cell. Meantime, we got caution on the racetrack, and I'm using a lot of caution down here, guys. I'm moving.
Well, this is short track racing at its finest. You saw Mike Dillon go spinning as he was.
Now let's see what happens here. Jeff comes into view there. I don't know that anybody really got into the back of him. I think he was on the high groove. He's on the outside of Mark Green there, and car just came around with him. I don't know if Mark got into him just a little bit or not, but it didn't look like it.
The 4 car, he told James Finch over the radio, oh, and there's contact up pit road between the 4 car and the 37. They're pushing the 4 car back. Mark Green is pulling into his pit stall as well. A confrontation between some of the crews, Kenneth Campbell and a couple other guys that are really going at it. Very upset about this confrontation between the 2 cars. The officials are trying to break it up, and Mark Green is being pushed back onto the racetrack. Some definitely heated tempers right now on pit road.
Boy, Jeff Purvis is really upset. You said the tempers get short at these racetracks, and you saw Purvis thinking Mark Green was blocking it. Oh, my. Dale Earnhardt Jr. dominating tonight.
Here we go into the first turn. Yeah, hell, he lost it. Just past the start-finish line there and tried to save it. He got in way too high.
Kevin Grubb in trouble here tonight. More on that down. He is on the.
There he goes.
He is 1 lap down. Tried to avoid going 2 laps down. And Bessie.
Tracy Leslie and Wayne Grubb together.
Here's Lyndon Amick in the 35.
Lyndon gets caught up in it, and back behind that. Didn't get to see who was. Somebody did hit him. I'm not sure who it was. I think it might have been the 72 car. He and the 72 car got together, and Kerry just went around.
You're on board now with Kerry Earnhardt.
See, the 72 car just gets inside of him
there. As we said, a rough night for Kerry.
Yeah, it has.
Matt Jones is involved. Kevin LePage as well.
And here comes the finish here.
The white and the yellow wave. And this
much like a week ago.
Trouble. There's Sharp.
Sharp in problems.
It's like Donnie Beechler involved too.
Yeah, he caught Beechler. Beechler just got nicked.
Up in the corner.
Sharp is behind Breck. You can see the thing just gets loose.
He just got loose.
That's what happened.
Donnie was a victim in that one.
Yeah. Donnie's just trying to get by. Look at this. But right Sharp, he comes off the wall pretty fast, and Beach just didn't have enough room to get by. But he ran up. Sharp was actually running up on the back of Kenny Breck, and I don't know if he had to roll out of the throttle a little bit or whatever. But, oh, you can see he was down on the apron there. That caused him one wiggle.
Right there.
Or that caused Breck to wiggle.
Not too big a hit for Scott.
No, that was like that could have been a lot worse than it was.
Right.
But I don't know if you noticed, right in front of Sharp at that time, Kenny Breck actually got. You can see Kenny Breck. He gets down in the apron in the white car, and it wiggles severely. Now I don't know if that affected Sharp. Scotty might have. Here it is again.
You see Kenny get down on the apron.
We missed Kenny on that one, but Breck gets down on the apron. It caused him to slide up high. Now Sharp might have been trying to turn the car down low to go under Breck, and that coupled with the roughness of the racetrack, you can see. Yeah, it's just real tough.
Tough to tell
Sharp
you
just
from Buddy
the back end just
view.
jumps out.
And on his 14th try, Kenny Breck is going to victory lane in the Pep Boys IRL. He wins the Vision.
Robbie Gordon has hit the wall right side. He hit it down in turn 4.
He just got up into the gray. You just saw him. He got up a little bit there where the car started walking on him. Right back here. He just gets up in that gray area. There's no grip up there whatsoever. Just goes up and slides up into the wall. The lower car is Scott Pruitt. They just get a little close there. I don't believe they touch, but the air looks a little disturbed. Moves Dennis Vitolo up a little bit. Looks like he's gathered it up. Gets up there in the gray where Robbie Gordon was. Just goes up and brushes it tall. See him white walling the tire right along the wall. Comes back down there at a bad angle, spins it, hits the brakes, skids down. Right there.
Adrian Fernandez.
There goes the pole money. Right there. That was our pole position.
And a bit of debris went over the catch fence. And you saw the debris go over the fence. A grinding crash involving our pole sitter, Adrian Fernandez. For Pat.
See them all bunched up right there, and Dario's right in that area. I cannot tell whether he touched somebody or
on the scene.
See, he's up there in the gray just like everybody else. He's got no control, as we heard Adrian Fernandez said. Once you get up in that gray, you are just a passenger.
And one man who was trailing was Gilles DeFerrin. He radioed his crew, said he had to lock up to
DeFerrin.
Oh, big
suspension
out the back. No, that's a blown engine. Yep. Turbo fire. We'll have a yellow flag for that one.
Zanardi attacking for third. Make that second. Oh, will they go 3 wide? No.
Is this a ploy by Jimmy Vassar to back off a little bit, get Greg Moore's draft, and see if he can snooker him on the last lap?
Moore all over the racetrack.
Look at Jimmy coming.
Here comes Zanardi. Does he have the horsepower despite that smoke from the back of the car? Greg Moore draws to a couple of car lengths away, and he will win the US 500. And I believe Jimmy Vassar hung on for second over his teammate as Alex.
On that Richard Childress, number 3, and there's Morgan Shepherd's 91. Joe Falk's car. Well, caution down, first time today. Earnhardt needed that. Comes at lap 70. What a break for Earnhardt. Morgan Shepherd here.
You see Morgan on the outside. The tire goes flat. You can see he has little control at all as it goes hard into the outside wall. Going into turn 1, scrubbing down the wall there. Very hard hit. He could not turn the steering. You see the car just veer straight out towards the wall.
Miles and then go for it. Look at 71.
Oh, man, you could see the tire come off the rim there as he got hard into the outside wall. Looked like the left rear may have gone down on him going in the corner, and he lost control and slid up.
And he
Driver's
just pitted.
side. Very, very lucky that get off the brake there and keep it from going straight into the wall. Great job by Bill Elliott. Right there it starts tearing up the left front fender, the tire does.
He got upstairs and just stayed upstairs, stayed out of everybody's way. Look at that tire beat the fender and the hood up. Oh. Well, that's so far. We'll see. There's still a good ways to go.
Oh, Chad Little gets tapped.
Oh, and there goes Ward.
Out of control.
Oh, contact.
Crash in the wall for Ward Burton. Let's see who else gets collected in this thing. Everybody on the radio trying to bring him down. The pole sitter, Ward Burton.
That little Earnhardt just barely touches him. He gets offline there. You can see Ward Burton gets sideways.
Look at Rusty get through.
Wallace threads the needle.
There's Jeremy Mayfield making contact on Ward Burton's left front corner, the 12 car, and the 5 there,
right there.
That's Terry Labonte. John Andretti takes through the grass to keep from making any contact. Right there's the initial contact. Then Earnhardt gets down into the 22.
Let me tell you, Rusty Wallace was both lucky and good in that occasion, getting through the middle without any damage. Oh. Cope was also involved in that. Derek Cope. Here's the start of it. Earnhardt of the 97 get together.
Now Earnhardt will come down, get into Ward Burton. That sets him off sideways.
Oh, Rusty.
Not so fortunate Mayfield.
No.
Or Labonte.
And we can see that he got in the corner too hard. He had no choice. He just saw us going in 3. This is turn 4 yesterday. Bam. I think this car is probably thinking Derek doesn't like it.
Fastest yesterday, and it was so warm today.
Yeah, we really did, Jerry. You know, it just, I tell you, it is disappointing for us. You know, everybody on this Cat team has really worked awful hard this week. You know, we just...
He can't get through the corner that fast, but he has to try. And there he gets it loose. He tries to save it, but the second time he cannot save it and goes up and backs in the fence. And you're right, hard contact.
From another angle.
And he says, man, this thing's going to hit hard. But there again, what choice do they have, Bob? If they go down and just run around the racetrack, they're not going to make the race.
Right.
And this is the Brickyard 400. This is not a
Just
preliminary
another race.
It didn't stick. The result from that is, bam, in the inside wall, outside wall.
Derek Cope had a problem in coming out of turn 3.
Another situation. If he backed off the gas, he's not. You see what happened to Jeff Bodine. Comes off the corner and around he goes. When he locks the brakes down as the car skids across that asphalt, that just wears the tires out.
Doesn't look like he hit anything, but what happened was when he flattened the tires, they shredded as he drove around the racetrack, and so there is debris scattered over the course that will take a few.
Came off the corner, and it's like the right front. He did exactly the same thing. I guess that's the third corner.
That's turn 1. That's turn 1 there.
Turn 1.
Benny, despite the adjustments they made on Jeremy Mayfield's car, they were continuing to be worried about problems with that right front. We showed you how quickly they could scuff off the rubber. That made
Gordon's onboard camera.
And watch that car just veer to the right.
Yep.
The right front tire goes flat, and he goes up and smacks the wall. That's what he thought he was going to do yesterday, he said. He was very lucky he didn't. So stop.
Oh, we got a crash, Benny. Crash in turn number 4. A couple of cars involved.
It's like Dave Martin said. Oh, yeah, we see contact between Brett Bodine and Buckshot Jones.
And Brett Bodine slides into that inside wall, but just taps it very lightly. Now, that's where that new energy-absorbing barrier is located here at Indianapolis. Bodine had contact with the outside wall before sliding across and then tapping that inside barrier.
How in the world did those guys slide through all those cars and not get hit by someone?
Looking good. Where's the pace car at, Martin? Oh, coming off 2.
Slides all the way across the racetrack, and everybody Buckshot misses him.
That was Jim Long, the crew chief on Buckshot's car. We heard talking to Buckshot, said they're going to change the right side, try to fix the fender.
Under caution once again.
Brett Bodine made contact.
There was
Earnhardt got so close to him, we talked about early in the race, that he took that air off the rear spoiler, and around goes the Texaco car.
There was no contact between Earnhardt and Irwin. He just lost the downforce, and the car got around on him. Scatters some photographers right here.
Watch those guys run. I don't blame him.
And from another angle, we see it once again. Oh, he had a great run going, had been in the top 5 most of the day. But his first try at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the Brickyard 400.
And guess what?
Board with Steve Park now.
Well, same thing that happened to Kenny Irwin.
And he banged the wall pretty good with the left side of the car.
Turn 1. Jimmy Spencer goes around.
Looks like he may keep going. Nope, the car's going to stop.
The contact between, is that Jeff Green?
Yes.
Jeff Green and Jimmy Spencer. We see Dale Jarrett going on the grass to get by. And there's Spencer up in the outside retaining wall. One more look. And look at Jarrett go right by that wreck.
By the way, Jarrett has moved up to 18th position now as the caution away, and this may end things. Several cars involved. The caution is out, and Jeff Gordon will cross the line first to complete lap 150 as the green was coming out.
And we see that someone just ran right in the back of we saw the back of Jeff Green's car jump up in the air.
He was hit by Joe Nemechek, but there could have been contact before that. In any case, it littered the straightaway with wrecked race cars. With it looks like Ricky Rudd coming out on the
shirt from Ricky Rudd and see what happened. We see what's going to cause all the damage to Rudd's car. Oh, I see it was Robert Presley's car. Here he comes off the corner.
Oh, up against the wall. Lyondike goes down, takes the inside wall, and tears that car up.
Wow.
And it looked like Burton had some pretty heavy left side damage. So coming off at turn.
Ever see Lyondike in the orange car as he comes off the corner? And we see the green car. I think that was Kendall that went up and slapped the wall. I tell you what, we tested that new wall, didn't we?
Sure did. That thing worked there. That's an attenuated barrier.
There we see Kendall goes up and smacks the wall, and when he smacks that wall, he comes down and hits the Lyondike car, and he goes down and smashes in that inside wall.
And Tony Stewart came right through the debris after the accident. There's Kendall. He catches Lyondike. Boy, there's a lot of damage on Arie Lyondike's car, but I think that barrier on the inside did help the accident substantially. Look at this.
Now we'll watch the white car. Watch. The damage to Mark Martin's car is
just was trying to miss it. I hope Arie's not hurt. Well, Dale Earnhardt will be allowed to change these 4 tires because they were flat spotted. There will not be a penalty. Do you want to see just how flat spotted?
It's coming back across the track, and only thing I could do I thought he was going to come back across, and the only way I could miss him was to just, run wide open and run into, there was stuff all over the track. I knew I was going to run into him. I knew I was going to run into the car in front of me, but I didn't want to hit him. And so it tore my car all to pieces, but I didn't want to hit him.
He doesn't teach this to his students, but sometimes even the professor has a bad day. And Sunday, last man gets her over a little too far and flips almost to the billboards. The Putnamville feature.
Crash down the front straightaway.
Big crash as several cars are going to be involved. Replays. Behind Darlin is Heidenreich. Let's see what happens.
He's on the inside. He touched another car as he came off of the corner. His right rear touched the left front of another car. He headed towards the outside wall, and he turned it down and backed it into that wall. That's why he might have some neck injuries. He backed into that wall very, very hard. And they do have these high back seats. They have a lot of safety precautions. But still, when you back into a wall like that, here's where the big danger was. Right back up in front of Jack Hewitt. Everybody did a terrific job. You can see Bentley.
Bliss is spinning. He's sideways in front of, backing in the wall.
Well, he hit her pretty hard, too. Here's the incident with the 84 of Anderson. Let's see how he got loose.
It's something similar to what Mike Bliss was doing. Under someone, trying to keep off that guy, trying to accelerate at the same time, and the truck goes around.
Meanwhile, in the battle up front, Mike Bliss loops the deuce and started.
Contact between Bainbridge and Scott Walters, and Bainbridge goes around. Scott Walters goes around, and look at, was that Renfro that went right through the middle of that? And here comes Boris. Boom. He just touches the back, and Lance Norrick and Scott Tony Raines goes around. Yeah, I wonder how that happened.
What about their alongside Raines as they went in the corner?
And Raines goes around. We can only assume that there was some contact between Setzer on the left rear. His right front touched the left rear of Raines, and Raines goes around. I don't think he's made any contact at all with the wall, but the engine stalled and would.
Well, as we've said before, wrecking's noisy. We've got trouble. There's your caution right there. Got a couple of them looping. Down the bottom goes.
They're side by side. And Corelli goes in the corner and just spins around. Is this coming off too? Yes, it is. That must have been a different wreck than the one.
Pick a wreck. There's a wreck.
Yeah, pick a wreck. There's a wreck everywhere because that's a completely different wreck than I thought brought the caution flag out, but
that's middle backstretch there.
Yes,
the other one was down in 3 and 4 where Biffle and Crawford got tangled up. So now this is Wallace before the motor blew. I don't know if he touched it or not, but if he didn't, he missed a great opportunity. Into the wall, and that.
There we see Tolsma on the inside, and there we see the contact between Randy Tolsma and Terry Cook, and bam, in the wall goes Cook. Look at all those trucks going by. How in the world someone didn't run over him is beyond me.
We're all paying attention. Here's another look at what happened.
Joe Ruttman
to the left rear.
Yeah, Joe Ruttman right behind this wreck, and he said, thank goodness. On the inside of the 16 of Hornaday, contact between Sprague and Hornaday, and bam! Hornaday in the wall hard.
Hornaday will have a word with Sprague when this one's over. Here's the view from Tony Roper's truck. That doesn't shed much new light, but Sprague got the right front into Hornaday's left rear, and into the wall goes Ron. The wall goes Sprague. Sprague keeps going. Setzer turns it around. He gave it a shot. They're in turn one.
They go down to the corner, side by side. They make, and Setzer gets the truck loose. He goes up, and Sprague just barely touches the wall.
That didn't look like it was hard enough to hurt it.
No, it didn't.
Good to tell in real time, but on the Boris had a little help there, didn't he?
Just some contact, and around he goes.
What the wall contact. Todd Bodine is there, feet up, goes around.
Yep, you saw Tim just come down a little bit, make just a little bit of contact with the 30 car. There's no room at Raceway Park here to, once you get bumped like that. We saw it in the truck race last night, and Tim's hard into the wall in turn number 1.
LePage is there. Boy, Ed Barrier did a great job to get on the brakes. Not to run into the back. It's coming into the Busch Series, coming back to the Busch Series. Oh, and here is the Power Team machine, the Chevy of Joe Beck.
Well, obviously, the 44 car had to check up, as did Joe Bessie there, and then the 34 car of Mike McLaughlin just got into the back of him. Can't tell exactly why they had to slow up.
A little different angle. It's already, Bessie had already been tagged, and so had the 44 had gotten hit from behind. Stewart by McLaughlin.
It's 3 and 4, and you could tell Shane got a shot from a pretty solid shot from behind and just backed it in between the wall there, and turns 3 and 4. Putting his hand up there saying, what
happened? Parsons already sideways. Looks like some contact behind him. There's Mark Green's car.
And then Mark Green slides backwards to block the track, and that's where it all, that's when it got real dirty.
Curtis Markham trying to get by on the inside. He ends up getting involved.
Here's real time.
That was some
real time. Some good sound effects there.
All right, different angle looking up the backstretch. Mike Bliss able to scoot by in the Band-Aid car. Look at Green. He gets up on the right front fender of Curtis Markham's car, the Snyder trucking machine. That thought?
Well, looks like a deja vu of what happened with Tim Fita earlier tonight. Just a slight little contact, and it's going to send someone backing into the wall there.
That's Lance Hooper in the WCW car. They body slammed the 5th to 93 car into the outside concrete. Elton Sawyer making a move. Boy, Mike Bliss has dodged another one. He and Lyndon Abing both. Oh, here is Grubb spinning around and gets it spun. A little help.
A little help from my friends.
Second angle, probably going to show you the same thing. That car had already got a little.
Tony Roper there in the 55.
And Randy Tolsma in the 61. Caution as they work it.
Going into turn 3 here. There you see
Tolsma and Tammy Jo Kirk getting together. Tony Roper tries to go the high side and gets collected by Tolsma's truck as it goes to the outside of the racetrack.
Just nowhere for him to go, and he run out of racetrack up there and is against the wall. Look.
That's Tolsma there in the tote truck on the inside. Tammy Jo, they make contact right there. He spins right up in front of Tony Roper and hard into the outside wall.
Hornaday in Houston. Only going by, and here comes Houston.
There you see Houston coming in and just catches Zandy and
Renfro.
Randy Renfro in the 78 there just loses control right by himself, backs into the wall hard with the left rear corner. You could see the truck come about 4 foot off the ground as he hit there.
Yeah, nobody got near him or into him.
Going down into the corner, you see Crawford in the 14 right there. They make contact. Jimmy Hensley used all his many years of experience.
Tires are 17 laps.
Oh,
Biffle's in the wall. Biffle is in the wall. White flag. Whoever gets around is going to win it. Biffle ahead of Houston. This is for the win.
Here
in
comes
turn 1.
Here comes Houston. They make contact coming off turn 2. They pull even.
Rutman is running third. Remember, if these two guys crash each
Look
other
out,
out,
they just beating and banging all the way down the back straightaway into turn 3. Biffle has the advantage there.
Get the photo finish camera ready. Biffle
he gets him
busted
loose.
out of the way. Houston takes the low side. Andy Houston is going to grab a win here. Andy Houston wins.
What a lap.
In
Trans Am.
Speaking of going in, Doug Mayer in car number 11 is in the wall hard. This is at the end of the main straightaway, coming around turn 1. Little engine fire bursting out there. Fire crew right on the scene, emptying a couple of fire bottles on the 11. Mayer triggers the onboard extinguisher. Window net is still up in that car.
Well, he needs to get out. I think he's knocked the fuel pump off, or fuel line. You can see it's burning underneath the car on the asphalt, so there's definitely a big fuel leak there. He needs to be getting out of there. And but
burning under the hood. Hopefully Mayer is out. We don't see him as yet.
That is burning now. The carbon fiber is on fire, quite soundly on fire. We've got the fire trucks getting there now. That is what they need, because these handhelds cannot combat this type of fire. There's a lot of fuel. I think he didn't have time to shut the switch off, and it's probably pumping raw fuel right onto that fire.
These cars, of course, do have fuel cells and so forth, but this is not a good situation. The fire crew, safety crew, quick on the scene here at Trois-Rivières. Field being moved out of the way. The fire trucks now arriving. And there is a lot of work going on down there to try to get the flames extinguished in Doug Mayer's Chevrolet.
That thing just keeps starting up, and I have to assume that there is raw fuel, like I said before, because they've kept putting this fire out and it just keeps on going, so something's supplying it with the energy to burn like that.
The end of the main straightaway there, Dorsey talked about it a few moments. Straightaway heading toward turn 2. Look at that right off the end of the corner.
Boy, you know, it looked like he had no brakes at all.
Really?
He hit there a ton. I mean, he really impacted that wall. It didn't look like there's any skid marks leading there. I think he's had a complete catastrophic brake failure and an awfully hard impact.
So Doug Mayer in just his third time soon. The safety crew there, and Doug Mayer is going to make a trip to the ambulance. Out of the car. We'll show it to you one more time. Dorsey, you say they think the brakes probably didn't last in that car.
Yeah, no skid marks leading in there. That's 130 miles per hour at the end of the markers. Oh, he got hit. He got tagged. He completely got run into and taken out from behind.
Is that Saunders? He was in front of Saunders, and Saunders got into him, it looks like.
And he gets in Lagarde. He sure does. He backs in Lagarde. Saunders gets in the back.
Oh, in trouble. The car number 72 into the wall. That is.
Well, you can see what happened there. The 85 car got into the 16 car, and then the 32 checked up, and Herschel, unfortunately, was just there.
That was Norris in the car number 32 that checked up to keep getting him from the back of the 85 of Richards, and Herschel had nowhere to go. He's right behind him. There's a 16 car spinning down on the inside. Gary Smith, last year's Rookie of the Year. Down in turn 1. There's the car number 19 involved. That is the efforts of Billy Kahn. The 26 car, 53-year-old rookie driver Ron Burns. Another angle, those two cars coming together, pretty hard contact.
You'll see after that hard contact, cut a right front tire down and had an oil fire. It appears must have busted. It appears he just got down in the corner and cut a right front tire down, it appears to me.
Hold that answer right there. We're going to talk about it.
Looking at the car, I seen pit road here, but it cut a right rear tire down coming off of turn 2. There's what happened, basically. Look. And fortunately, just touched the wall very briefly.
Attacked up in turn 3. Brandon Ash and Kazutera Wakita. Watch Wakita's car. Heavy contact with the outside concrete wall. Both the rear and front. Car number 85, Kevin Richards spinning sideways. Rookie competitor. Now the 09 car of Dean Wanless, the young man from Sydney, Australia, who had that great run at California.
Well, it looks like he had a little help there. Engelbright, our last race winner, got in there and backed it in the wall pretty hard there.
Another angle look at it. Look, here's Engelbright in the yellow number 20 car. The Jelly Beans and Wonder Bar machine got a little tap in the rear on the 71 of Middleton, and you heard him talking to Marty Reed. Engelbright and Mikey might have gotten a little on the inside, got pinched down a little bit by the 57 car of Mike Pratt.
These guys are trying to. Yeah, it looks like Jerry just had the car pinched down. Engelbright was on the outside of him, and he just come off the corner instead of leaving the car drift up the racetrack. He just tried to pinch it down, got it a little loose, and gathered it up through the grass.
All right, little off-road. See if we can look at it for a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like the right front tire probably had went down getting off a turn forward. He just
around the 88 of Greg Fowler, and he will have contact. We don't because of the threat of weather in the area. Mike, whoa, and there's contact, and that is Schuler. That was Schuler who ran.
I want a problem here in the corner. Several cars getting together.
Well, Sammy Potashnik
of Monte Carlo was damaged over at New River Valley. Sammy Potashnik got loose in front of that pack of cars. Jerry Rector got involved with it along with...
Don't go away. More Hooters Pro Cup Racing coming up next on The Deuce.
And looks like a little contact there. Kevin Prince getting some help going around and into the inside wall. At Winston Knoll
30s. So, oh, and trouble over in the corner as the 20 car spins in turn number 3, and that's Ricky Sanders.
Well, that happened right in front of Jeff Agnew as Kevin Prince is involved. And looks...
You know, there are some nights where...
Certainly nobody was behind Jack Sprague. Might be worthy of another view.
Jack tried to go down under there and made contact on the
Well,
oh,
that is Tolsma at the right front.
At the right
Indeed
front.
It was. Tolsma was at the right front of the truck and apparently came down on Jack, so that picture looks, because clearly there was nobody behind him. Keselowski was behind him, a good truck lane.
Watch when he hits the styrofoam here.
Sends the styrofoam flying, but still a lot of damage to the back of that truck.
There's Corelli right there going. That is not Corelli.
That is the 06, as we said
06.
initially. That was Billy Pouch. We had,
looks like he and Ron Barfield
yeah.
may have made a little bit of contact. You see him hard into the outside there. Without that styrofoam, I would say the back of that truck would be even with the back glass.
Andy Houston's truck there has not been a good... Oh, Tolsma went wide, but it was Sawinski in the 31. Another truck spins to the inside.
You can just imagine these guys that run into the smoke like that. They can't see one thing, so they lock it.
Tony Raines here. You see Mike Wallace right there to your left, and he does begin to go around. So he reports a left rear that is flat. Here's Bob Keselowski's view. Is this just instinctive? Oh, there goes Greg Biffle spinning to the left also of Keselowski.
There you can see what I was talking about. Totally blind when you go through these wrecks. You see him on the outside of Rick Crawford there. The back end just starts around. He gets into the outside barrier there. Keeps her locked down. Hardly any damage whatsoever.
Take another look right now. He went wide of Crawford, who never touched him, and just lost traction.
He just glides along the outside barrier there, does not make any hard contact at all.
Now that truck is running in...
For sixth lap, you can see they make contact getting in the corner. Compton into the outside wall there in the 86 truck. Ah, that's too bad.
Turn one. Bang, he just missed the area where that styrofoam stopped, too. Bounced right off the Armco. Watch it again now.
You know, there's a gap between these two trucks.
They didn't touch, buddy.
Well,
let's see here.
Yeah,
they do right there.
Right there.
They
just
do right
enough.
there.
Just enough.
Yeah, they did right there.
But that's hard racing, I guarantee you. Wow.
Well, Glenn, first-time winner on the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, Terry Cook.
Again, 83 laps of this 2.25-mile racetrack, and already Dario Franchitti is under attack by Brian Hernan. They touch Brian Hernan, Dario Franchitti, and it looks like Jimmy Vasser back to the top three. Look at that. The guys, he gives them the move. They go around side by side. Franchitti's there.
Edie ricochets off of him, takes Vassar out.
Of going to a red flag condition and getting the backup car. As the replays continue on the crash, it remains to be seen if they'll be able to take advantage of that rule.
Very good point, because let's not forget, they start the race on the back straight. Franchitti loses a little bit of ground there. They come around. Now there's two lines here. You can stay all the way to the left, which Franchitti does, but Brian Hurtis just squeezes him there, hooks the wheel. Look at that, he goes over. Jimmy Vassar, innocent bystander, boom, big hit. Out into the wall, and everybody scrambles around. Look at the back of the pack.
Loose into the grass, Gary.
Oh, wild ride. Elevation changes. This could be tough. He keeps the control and gets it back out there. Did he damage any suspension?
Zanardi's the second car, goes off on the grass.
Right there is where I was concerned. Did you see how much air he had? He went over one of those hillocks, and yet he still was able to get it back out onto the race course, and it looks like it's under collision.
Moore right in front of us, hit the right rear. He gets in, and then Greg Moore just stands way too hard on the car. You saw it slip up one of the rear tires from the Binsky team, hit the guy on the right front. That was a very scary accident.
And Moore had to stop. Once Andre got in the box, Moore took off as I was carrying my tire out. His left rear hit the tire I was carrying, knocked it out.
We've got to go back upstairs.
We've got a car problem. Big problem. Several cars off, and one of them has flipped over. 3 cars involved. Michael Andretti.
Like Michael Andretti looked like Mark Blundell in that bright Motorola colored car.
Safety.
Okay, through the kink on the back straightaway. 2 cars in front of him. Slips inside. He taps PJ. Trying to pass him. Look at that. And he lands upside down on the track. Rolling again, tumbling. Look at that. What a ride through that. Oh. That is unbelievable. And is that not a testament to the safety of these cars that this guy's looking to get out of there?
Another look from overhead.
Now that was Zanardi and J.J. Lado, and they touched and took off J.J. Lado's wing. And look at Michael come through. Oh. Unbelievable.
So that action took place ahead of the knot of 3 cars as Michael tried to shoot the gap between P.J. Jones and another car in real time. The violence of that crash is unbelievable.
Goes inside, outside. Same place that we saw the accident earlier. Got on the grass.
Here with Green, you see him in the middle of the screen there, get loose, went up and slapped the outside wall.
And look and go down through the cars, and no one hit him. Wow.
And he came right down on pit.
Oh, we got a crash. We see Derek Coates' car and Morgan Shepherd's car.
Right here in the tri-oval at the starting line. 2 cars sliding through the grass. Cope and it looks like Morgan gets hit from behind.
No, I think Derek Cope got hit behind by Sterling Marlin and goes down. Morgan was just on the inside of him, and he turned him right into the 91 car. It looked like that was Sterling Marlin, didn't it, Ned?
Yes.
From the onboard, carried by Kenny Irwin.
This is going to have 4 cars in front.
Boy, they cleared out in a hurry for him.
You heard Kenny lift just barely to see if he was going to be involved, and he knew he wasn't, so he stood on the gas. There it is once again, the contact between Marlin and Cope.
And poor Morgan Shepherd, Ned, just riding along.
Yep, he was a victim of circumstances down there on the inside. No problems that didn't look like, and all of a sudden he gets hit.
He must be the most shocked guy on earth when he's just riding along. All of a sudden somebody runs in the side of him on the straightaway.
Debut, here we go. Wise. Okay, I'm ready when you are.
Good.
Wise. Did he forget his line or what? Is this the regular one or is he the understudy? Is this? Yeah, thank you. Hey, you gotta wait for me. Let's hold it, not you. He goes, then I. Wait a second, not you. Hold it. Wise. Why? I can't work in this environment. Cut. Cut.
And then the car carried out in 2. He just lost his front end. Don't know what happened. It was pretty hard to tell. Maybe he got some rubber on the front tire in 4.
He led 97. Oh, they've stretched this all the way. We better make sure we know who second, third, and fourth is. Right now, he crossed the line with 10 seconds ahead of everybody else. Kenny Breck, Power Team car. And he turns for the line. Dual checkered flags from Brian Howard.
Qualifying. He starts this race today back in the 6th row. Alex and
locking up there. Scott Owen problems. Allenzer Jr. goes around. Carpentier gets up on top of them. They said Farron. Okay, they're going down the hill here. Gilles up there taps. Oh, he taps Scott Pruitt, turns him sideways. That started that chain reaction. Look at the back of your screen, right back in that area there. And then Allenzer Jr. gets hit right there by, that looked like either Jimmy Vasser or Alex Zanardi. Taps him up in the air. Carpentier has nowhere to go. Here we're on board with Alex Zanardi. Oh, and he hits Al Jr. big time. And what's amazing?
Miller.
Oh, look at Brian. Unbelievable. Brian goes in so deep, Tommy, right there in front of you, almost took out his...
Going in deep to keep Greg Moore behind him, and just got it. You could tell he was in trouble early.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, my goodness.
Alex Barron right up on top of poor Brian Herta.
You saw Herta pull his hands in and try to make himself small. And
Herta goes in deep to try to keep Moore behind him. Cannot get it stopped. Just barely tagged Rahal sitting there.
Watch
Barron's
over
towards
here.
the back of the pack.
And you saw Alex Barron up against the wall in a grinding.
Did you see that? The safety worker was already attending to Brian Herta and saw that coming. I think a similar thing happened with Alex Barron. He came in down hot, had nowhere to go, and went to the outside, got in the grass before the turn. And Danny?
Also, remember, you got this roll bar up here at this point, and there's one down there in the front of the car underneath the dash, and that's acts where he can be protected. 6th gear, about 190. Listen, boom. Blown tire. Michael tries to control it. Takes a big wallop in the wall, gets down in here, hits the tires. He blew a left rear.
Just pulls the truck down, and he's trying to stay out of the quarter panel of Andy Houston, loses the back end. You see Hornaday in the 16 skirting by there, Jimmy Hensley in the 43. Almost contact there as he comes back up. Everybody doing a great job.
Just bounded up a little bit too much, but he will be weak.
Trouble.
He doesn't
Joe
like it there.
Buford just spins and hits the outside wall with the right front. You can see it bouncing there. Into the left rear quarter there, spins him around. Now Buford makes a 360 right here and gets into the wall with the right front corner as he gets right there. Real hard contact.
Take another.
See Mike coming off turn 4 there, locks the brakes up and goes around. A lot of times when you're back in the throttle there, you takes a full lap to happen. Barry Bodine there coming off the corner. Watch how sideways he gets. Right now, Borisev's going to the inside, and across comes Bodine. They make contact. That sends him into the outside wall.
Then Bainbridge up in the corner. Randy Renfro goes hard into the wall and takes B.A. Wilson with him. Renfro in the 78, B.A. Wilson in the 85. And we were talking.
They come off the corner there.
And just ahead of him there, the 75 helped Barfield around.
Yeah, he got him in the left rear, and right there on that part of the racetrack, when you get touched, you're very light coming out of the corner anyhow. Let's look at this coming off the corner. They get together right there. So you see him touch him there and turn him right around down the back straightaway. But, you know, everybody did a great job of not really getting crazy there and locking the brakes up and blocking the back straightaway. Everybody got by.
And there's one more view of it midway down the back straightaway. And again, if you're just joining us, Lonnie Rush, that's his normal truck, but it's usually number 10. It's number 75 here today, subbing for the man who is out in Monroe, Washington, running the NASCAR Winston West Series race, Kevin Harvick. He is the series point leader out there.
Eli, Kevin Sawinski right there jumped all the way up on top of the 40. Flying trouble.
Houston and Cook are in the wall. Cook the 88, Houston the 60, caution on the speedway. And Cook.
Terry Cook loses it, going down into the corner there, low on the racetrack, comes up. Watch him slide back in to the 60 truck there as they go up towards the outside wall.
I don't think Houston
no,
even touched
he never
him.
touched him. He got into the wall pretty hard, though, Houston did.
So Cook spins going in. Andy Houston, who has a 5-point, he does the 360, keeps on trucking. Who was running near the front.
Oh!
Ah!
There's why we have.
With Rick Crawford in the 14 truck.
Watch Stacy Compton there as he wiggles the truck through there, slides it around. That could have been a major incident right there. Great driving.
Wallace to the outside.
Sawinski back in the throttle. The back of the truck starts around. There was no contact there. He did all this right by himself as he comes off, keeping the truck sliding very, very straight. That could have been into the inside wall had he not held the brakes on as he come off the corner there.
Clearly no contact from anybody else.
Look at Greg Biffle there in the 50, barely getting by on the outside. Bob Keselowski comes along. Jack Sprague.
Mile to go for Jimmy Hensley. Meanwhile, Crawford gets inside of Wallace to third. Biffle will take fourth. Wallace now back in fifth, ahead of Tolsma in sixth. But up front, the scramble is behind him. Jimmy Hensley, the Virginia gentleman, is another.
Sheet of Randy Butler. Watch Randy go hard, flipping through turn one. The tail nose hits or the slides up into the fence, and there's no catching it there.
Yeah, that's where the helmet net, they run on the side of the cockpit.
Or scariest wreck of the week.
2 red cars in stereo flipping out of turn 4.
Leonard Lee in the 16L and Donnie Gaden in 27G, and Gaden's car erupts into flames, but the track crew. Looks like he just went down low and caught him, huh?
Yeah, then we can't, then we, it looked like the other cars got tangled up coming out of turn 2.
And we'll see it here.
Oh, right there. Well, no wonder the sideboard of the wing's bent.
Yeah. Wow. It's a much wilder ride than we thought.
Yeah, thought it was just a little spin. Decided to make a comeback.
Into the wall hard.
Unassisted.
Is barred.
Just.
As you said, little fire under there.
Yeah.
Again, that's an oil fire like we saw the other night.
Well, you know it's an oil fire because you can see it.
Yeah, fuel, methanol fuel burns. At night you can see it a little better. Daytime it burns so pure. He might have just, he got in there too high and hooked the right rear tire, slapped the wall, and he might have just retired again.
Second angle. That was a good one, Dodie. I like that.
There again, anytime you get up over that, it's just a little bit of moisture up there, and at the speeds they're running, once you get up onto that dark part of the racetrack, there's really not much you can do. Just ride it out.
Oh, come on,
you going to design it for me?
How about a die cast? How about a die cast? Here we go.
Oh, big pile up in 4, 5, 6 cars involved. Our buddy in the 70. Starts with the 6 right there, Brad. One car going up over the back of the 6.
It's a train wreck, essentially.
It was the 51J, Jameson, I believe.
And Rockhold and Lee had nothing to do with that starting. Victim of circumstance. We're going to see it again here. A couple cars on the right there. Get together, just bunches everybody up right in front of them. Billy Wilburn, no place to go, and look, Rockhold there. And again, Lee on the backside, everything just closes up.
Only one car really got upside down, and then it righted itself.
Right there, it is.
Mamas, don't let your babies grow up.
Unbelievable.
Ooh, and the 71 car does a nose stand, a standing redondo.
Boy,
Tucky makes contact with the 25 of Nelson, I believe. Oh, one flipping into the wall.
Just drove it in.
Turns 1 and 2.
Oh, no.
And a big hit from the 91 car.
That's something.
Cernit in the 91. Back in 96 as a rookie.
There he just jumped the cushion, got in. Everybody coming in. Laying roll cage facing traffic. That isn't what you want. And boom, right into the top of the roll cage. But again, there you saw a perfect example of how the wing helped because it showed the left front tire actually, it might have gotten completely inside the car had not that wing been there.
Watch the fuel tank shoot off the back of this car like a rocket upon impact from Cernit.
Now watch the wing, watch the left front tire of Cernit's car. Right there, you saw the axle fold back where it hit the wing and stuff. Without that wing, but look what it did to the top of the roll cage. Travis, lucky guy.
Bobby?
Well, here's Travis.
Watch the 91 go right for the wall. John Cernan hits it hard, and then Lee Nelson drives right into it, and Larry Pinniger matches the problem.
That's where the term bicycle comes from, right there, up on 2 wheels. Bam, right into the wall. Now watch what happens here. No
Lee
place
Nelson.
to go for these guys.
Boy, that white 25 just hammered right into that puck.
Right.
The white car, up high.
Okay. What we saw similar, the racetrack is so sticky right now. Guys are getting in there, and that was a bicycle again, getting up on 2 wheels, and it just puts you right in the wall. I think the racetrack's got a lot of people fooled. See, again, it's so sticky. You heard Guy Forbrook saying how fast the racetrack is.
Let's check in with Dave Reef.
Okay.
Contact.
That looked like might have been Shawn Michael, who we just spoke about. See the red flag there, or the red light up there? Okay, McCarl got in way over the cushion, and I think it was a 15 of Blake Robertson. I think he thought that McCarl was going to stay up there, and McCarl actually came down a little bit, and they just got together. Now, hopefully we can see what happened to our leader here.
Oh, he got into Whitworth, and then Rocky ran right into him. Whitworth right down pit road?
Yeah, I think.
In Speedway in Pennsylvania, and then Raymer into the wall.
Boy, you know, he had suffered a severe concussion at Lernerville World of Outlaw race earlier this year. Spent a couple days in the hospital.
Look at the tail tank flapping around to Bobby Jarrett.
Ralph, the winning strike.
Look at this! To the bottom! Danny Lasowski goes by Sammy Swindell. Will he win the Amoco Knoxville Nationals? The crowd is on their feet. They're going to tear this place apart. Jim Swindell is in front. Danny Lasowski has won the 38th annual Amoco Knoxville Nationals.
Looks like
big point for this track is very important not to lose the line, because after it's too much difficult to clean up the tires, because after 2 third laps the grip again coming at the very difficult track for this point.
Real wide and almost getting upside down. He gathered it back up and went on though. A little bit later, Jimmy McCune, he gets upside down big time. That's Jason or Shelton right there, who did a little Tommy tip over there on the bottom of the racetrack. He tipped that thing back over, went back out and ran the rest of the race until running in 4th position, going through the 2nd corner, he gets over there, gets against the wall and does a big time flip. Watch the wheel come down. It went twice as high as the car. Man, oh man. Well, his day was done. It looked like he was just got in the corner a little bit too hot, did a little wiggle, backed that thing up against the fence, just barely tapped it. No harm, no foul.
West, this is the normal springtime stuff. Western States Midgets, Bakersfield, 2 consecutive nights. I love it when they do wheelies. Actually, 2 consecutive weeks. Then new stuff, Western States Sprints with wings, flying over.
Midgets to run here, back for the night before the 500, so he's trying a new tire combination. I think it's going to work out for him. Back up to you guys.
We have a bit of a problem over in the 3rd turn as about 4 trucks have piled into each other.
Oh, and we got a spin. Was that Santerre? And looks like Joe Bessie might have hit him.
And still no caution. Finally, the yellow flag waves the field from turn 2 in the backstretch.
Santerre goes up. He tries to avoid hitting, I think, the 89 car. When he does that, he spins himself out. And he goes around. All these other cars go by down on the inside. Here's Joe Bessie, the 6th car on the outside. This car. He's going to make some contact, just slight contact with Santerre, but enough contact that he goes up and Bessie stops in the racetrack. We see the right front tire is flat. Another angle. There we see Santerre going round. And watch Joe Bessie as he comes. Watch Bessie waving his hand and trying to warn everyone else as he tries to turn left and catch. Just no place he can go. He knocks the right front flat on his car.
And then Matt Kenseth has a problem from his in-car from the roof cam, the Lyco Chevrolet.
All right, hold on. Whoa, we're not in the wall. We got punch out.
As he gets the car a little bit out of shape, and even more out of shape, and around he goes. And there finally, the 83 car, one of the Grub boys, guess that's Wayne Grubb, makes a little bit of contact, but really there wasn't much he could do. And the caution flag is now.
Well, the 14 car may have...
don't look bad from here. Don't see him.
This car really was working well. In the
and he gets a touch in the outside wall. Oh,
stay up, stay up, stay up.
Touch from Kevin LePage, and Earnhardt Jr. goes up and bam, smacks that wall pretty doggone good.
Yeah, and the angle of the racetrack and the angle of the wall were two different ways, so it knocks all the camber out, knocks rear end over. This is a major hit that does a lot of damage.
There's just that little bit of touch, and watch this. Boom, both the front and the rear.
Number 1, and the 20 car, Blaze Alexander.
See, Mike Dillon, the 72 car, starts this crash. He spins the car out. Now, I guess that Blaze Alexander and Sterling Marlin just are innocent victims as they try to avoid. Is Todd Bodine going to hit him? No, he missed him. Man, how did he do that? But here comes Sterling Marlin, and he spins trying to avoid him. And look at Blaze Alexander. Boom, right in the right front wheel.
So Dillon gets going again, and he doesn't hit anybody.
Watch it from our speed shot camera. Now, Randy LaJoie, if this camera just stays positioned, I think Randy LaJoie ends up hitting the wall later on. Look, this is, I don't know how much later. Here comes the leader.
There he comes on the high side.
Watch LaJoie. You see him make that contact? That was the 47 car he made contact with, I believe.
Yeah, one of
straight away. More, man,
Front, man. The high side. You got one up. We got to get her going.
Got about 5 or 6 cars involved in this one. Buckshot Jones
gonna be in it. Watch Buckshot come off the corner and boom! Something looked like, oh, I see Dick Trickler crashed, and the 8 car, Bobby Hillen, backed off, and Buckshot plowed right in the back of him, and Blaney plowed in the back of the 00, and the 99 car almost made it. Now we see, look at LePage, and the 92 car of Jeff Green comes spinning into that. Barrier in the 77, Jeff Green in the 92. Board camera down the backstretch, turn 3, goes up the racetrack, now it's off forward with it. Let's see if we can see. Looks like he just lost it, Cop.
It looks like he got hit almost.
Yeah, he did get hit. He did get hit, yes.
The way it turned on him real quick, it started to the left and then back to the right, and he was in the wall. And then these guys have no place to go. What you've got to remember and keep in mind when you're watching a race at Bristol, they're running 16-second laps, 16.5-second laps. This stuff's happening.
At about 120 miles an hour, another big incident, this time up on the banking. Maurice involved, there's Shane Hall, LaJoie, Todd Bodine, Blaney's involved.
And makes slight contact with Jeff Krogh in the 56 car. And we see Randy LaJoie slow down. Shane Hall, bam, hard in the back of the 85 car. And here comes Jeff's brother, Mark Krogh, the 80 car. And there comes Patty Moise into it. And man, there, as you said, there's no place to go. Another angle. Here's Buckshot Jones right there as we roll the tape. There we see him trying to get under the Jeff Krogh car right there. And there's the contact.
That accident there takes out both of the Krogh brothers. There's LaJoie spinning his 74. Now watch the 93 gets tapped from behind by the 85 of Shane Hall. Here's the 14 of Moise coming in. Resendez going downstairs, and Ed Barrier trying to make it by in the 77 car. So 6 cars back to the inside. Whoa!
We got a crash. Ricky Craven's involved in the race.
Hey, Robert, broke the transmission.
Inside and outside, and finally the 83 car has no place to go and runs in the back. That's Wayne Grubb in the 83. Oh, and we got a crash. That's Steve Grissom, the pole sitter. Wayne Grubb and the 80 car, and he checked up. He did to avoid the accident. Grissom did, and spun himself around and right in the side of the 80 car.
Yeah, I think Grissom just checks up just a little bit, thinking they're going to get together. As you see him come down to the corner here, the 83 and the 80 get together. Grissom checks up, but his left side's on the flat of the racetrack. His right side is on the bank. It takes the wedge out of the car unloads and goes up the bank. Right?
There we see Kevin Grubb backing in the fence. And we heard the battle we were watching was between the 38 and the 33, and we heard the spotters yelling, "Look out, look out, look out." And I tell you what, we're lucky that
Buckshot is fast. It's not like Buckshot's holding.
And contact. Buckshot's involved. Preston is involved. 44 car is involved. Elton Sawyer, there's the Barbasol machine involved. Let's see who can get through. The track is almost blocked here on the front stretch. Here's Dale Jarrett trying to come through.
We got to. And this race is over.
Robert Presley, he is out of the car. The Kingsford charcoal machine. There's Presley standing down by the fence. They have red flagged the race. Here comes the fire crew over to try to extinguish the blaze in the car number 59.
Give me something here. Give me something. Turn on something so I can spray. Now, there we go. Now we're going.
My heavens, the car's involved.
They go in the third corner. That's 00 Buckshot on the bottom. As they come off the corner, Robert comes down trying to get to the bottom of the racetrack so he can catch Dale Jarrett. They make contact in the outside wall. There's Elton Sawyer going in. And then I guess we've broken a fuel line off the 59 car. Wouldn't you guess, Kyle, that all that fire came from the fuel line?
It had to be a fuel line. If you watch the way the 44 hooks up behind the 59 car of Robert Presley, they both drive straight into the wall. You watch them right here as they come. They get into Buckshot, or Buckshot gets into them, whichever way you want to see it. And watch them. They drive straight up the bank like a train, straight into the wall. These two cars hit hard. He's pinned up against the outside wall. Obviously, he's throwing a lot of sparks, and it probably broke the fuel pump. It's a Ford. It's on the right side over there. Probably knocked the fuel pump off. You see the stream of fuel. And these guys that are behind him had no place to go, because when you see it again, you see how much smoke was there, and there's nothing. These guys finally just had to stop and weave their way through it.
Once again from the roof cam from Matt Kenseth.
Down front, stay down low. Low.
Where's all my brakes? There they are.
Way down, man. Just watch. Yeah, there you go.
He just stopped.
Just going by feet of what sees the fire hydrant. Now here's Elton Sawyer.
And watch this, gang. Wow. The spotter was trying to drive him through it. Let's see what Mike McLaughlin sees. See what he sees, Elton Sawyer.
My God, final caution flags. They come right at you down the front stretch. 8 cars involved. Heavy damage and flame from beneath Robert Presley Chevrolet. Back with more of the finish in just a moment.
Had a good car, great pit strategy there at the end. We put 2 tires on. It was a little bit tight, but I don't know. It looks like just, we had 5 really good cars racing hard, and some idiot a lap down must have got into one of the cars that was in the lead lap with 10 laps to go. I guess he thought he was going to win the race or something. I hate it for the Barbasol Ford. Everybody worked hard. We put a lot of effort into this race, but heck, this is Bristol. Great crowd. Got Darlington in a couple weeks.
When that happens, there's nowhere for you to go, is there?
Nah, it happened fast. I saw the 59 spinning. I moved high not to run in the back of the 40 car, and there was a little bit of a gap, and thought maybe luck would be on our side and we'd get through, but as you can see, it wasn't. But that's okay. We've been very fortunate all year. Had good cards, and it's the first one we really tore up, so we got 8 more to go.
Okay, we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Bill.
That's Elton Sawyer, another guy in the points race that takes a heavy hit tonight. Here's Ray Dunlap.
Well, Bill, I'm with Ricky Craven, and they're packing up down here in the New Holland pits. If you hadn't had that flat tire earlier tonight, I think you might have been a contender here.
Yeah, really good. Really proud of the guys tuning on the New Holland car. And, Bristol's fun. It really is. That's why there's 100,000 people here, and there's got to be a red flag in every race here. But thank God nobody was hurt. And we got caught up in it.
Well, that happens, guys. Ricky Craven done for the night.
Guys, I got to pose a question to you. Kyle Petty and Benny Parsons. On the restart, as you look at Buckshot Jones, what does Buckshot do? I mean, what else can he do? He's a lap down. He's on the inside. I mean, in that situation, what could he do?
Well, you see, he's racing with a 4 car. You see the 4 car right behind him. Buckshot is racing with him. I guess he's afraid if he had backed off and let these other cars go that the 4 car would have passed him for position. And, you know, what he should have done, what he could have done would just back off and let those 4 or 5 cars go by. But, again, that's not... He's
got on the inside. He nudges Jarrett up on the outside. Here comes Phil Parsons back. White flag for LePage, the leader. Parsons in second spot. Jarrett is third. On the final lap of the Food City 250. And out of turn 4, Kevin LePage. The Channel Lock Chevrolet will take the win. Parsons
spinning and
right in front of the leaders, or at least the second, third, and fourth place cars to the start-finish line. Morgan cuts down. Don't know that Darrell has a fender up there, I don't believe. Darrell thinks he knows it. They touch, and up into the wall Morgan goes.
And watch him come down right in front of Mark Martin, Jeremy Mayfield. Man.
And Jeff Gordon wasn't back there.
And we see Morgan Shepherd going up, brushing the wall, and watch as he comes down, and Mark drives to the bottom of the racetrack. See, Jeff Bodine also sees Morgan Shepherd down on the inside, and look at the contact between those guys.
Lap 119.
And we see Joe Nemechek had made contact with someone. It might have been Elliott, I'm not sure, as they came off turn 4, and we see the left front tire is flat.
From Bobby Labonte's on board. Oh, Nadu into the wall too a little bit.
I think he got clipped a little bit with Dale Jarrett as Nadu was slowing down.
Gets in the corner, and I don't know that Bobby Labonte was close enough to him to have anything to do with that. We got an onboard camera with Bobby Labonte. Let's just check and see. There we see Trickle going by the start-finish line down in turn 1. Down in the corner, and around he goes. And Labonte says, wow. Benson goes in right behind the 36 car, and there's the contact with Rusty Wallace.
Already had some damage on the lower left. It says Mark Martin closes in on the leader, Jeremy Mayfield.
Now we watch Urban as he come off turns 4 and just tries to stay in front of the leader, nails the gas. Around he goes. Mark goes on the inside. Johnny Benson goes on the inside, and man, everybody else just kind of split Ernie.
Whoa. Yep, they didn't know which way to go.
Mark Martin.
And the leaders are on pit road.
Down to Bill Weber.
Bottoming out, dragging the racetrack. You see the sparks flying. And we got a big crash in the back.
Come on,
It took us a while, but we finally have our typical Bristol crash.
There we see the 46 car. Jeff Green gets into Brett Bodine. Kevin LePage, the 16 car, gets turned around. And we see Derek Cope has, I guess, ran into the wall is what he hit. And now he comes down and hits the inside wall. Chad Little's also involved, the John Deere car. You see Preston sitting up there. The 96 car, the CAD car, is also involved. Listen and watch.
Ward Burton and John Andretti both hard into the outside wall.
Man.
And from Bill Elliott's on board.
Well, he's got good brakes, I know that.
He got her woed down, didn't he?
Sure did. Most of those cars were on the lead lap. $1,000 won't be awarded on this lap.
There we see Brett Bodine just lost control coming off turn 4, and that's where all the smoke came from, as he nailed the gasoline trying to keep the car going off the wall. And we'll see what...
Right, he's on the bottom. Track's clear, track's clear, track's clear, track's clear. Go, 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 go. Caution's out.
Wally Dallenbach drunken flag. Well, we pick it up after Schrader had made the impact with Johnny.
We saw the impact.
Avoid him, including Chad Little.
Break 4. Ernie Urban and the one car of Steve Park, they got back on the lead lap.
The interceptor trying to get the thing started. There's a lot of raw fuel in the exhaust pipe. And when he tries to start it and he opens the throttles, look at all that fuel come pouring. The bank is just pouring all that fuel out of the carburetor.
He probably realized that, so he said, let me get it turned around. He don't know how much damage he's got to that Ford. Whoops, better get out of there, Dennis.
Now, I think he finally got it started. Now, there's some Terry Labonte as he go down in the corner, and Setzer goes in that wall.
Here it is from another angle. Just the slightest touch from Labonte.
Watch all those cars go by, and just fortunately he did not come. See, watch if he spins those tires, goes around. Look, how would you see through that? Look, there's no, you can't even see the cars in that. No wonder they all stopped.
Big smoke screen up. Jerry didn't hit anything, kept going, but it certainly did create a smoke screen for those following. Looks like he just got down into the second corner and lost it.
Look at all the smoke. I mean, that's really amazing how the visibility just totally obscured. All right, watch Martin. Get behind him. Man. That's what he's seen in front of him as well.
Now from Bobby Labonte's perspective.
Just luckily nothing was there when Labonte went.
Here's a replay.
You ever see Nadeau? Well, they see Ward Burton has hit him. You see Ricky Rudd just stop. Jeff Gordon drives down to the apron of the racetrack. So does Skinner. So does Kenny Schrader. And look at Terry Labonte. He's going to go by on the outside.
Squeezes in there. But I think Rudd's car died once he pulled up there and stopped. And it took him a little bit to get it to.
For under caution, the 11th of the evening.
And Dallenbach. This is I don't know, is this the same? Yeah, the wreck is behind. Jerry Nadeau spun because Dallenbach had spun in front of him. I couldn't figure out why Jerry Nadeau spun, because Dallenbach has spun in front of him. Let's see why he spun. Ever see Dallenbach? This might be why he spun. Yes, it is.
Oh, maybe that's why they worked on Bobby Labonte's car.
Exactly. 75 car going around and coming across the racetrack, and
everybody else avoids.
I don't know if the 12 car of Jeremy Mayfield got just a little high, or there was slight contact between he and the 18. Hard to tell.
For Speedways, is about to chalk up a short track victory. Mark Martin wins the Goody's Headache Powder 500 at Bristol Motor Speedway.
He spun in turn 12. Ron Hornaday says, yeah, I like the track. I like the dirt also. He used it to his advantage there, trying to bypass Tony Raines. Tom Hubert says, hey, if it works for Hornaday, it's going to work for me, en route to the lead. Wayne Anderson, though, going downhill, didn't get the bite he wanted, spun out, but then going for the lead, Mike Bliss on the drag strip. Vaughn goes off the course. He goes off the course, and Bliss reassumes the lead, and here goes Compton and Cook. They will grab second and third. Also, Raines goes off the course. You see Sauter going by. Archer in the 29 and Hornaday all.
Tony Raines' truck here.
Here they go into turn one. This is the big accident here. See, Sauter got in the dirt a little bit, then it all starts stacking up.
Look like bumper cars in Kittyland.
Oh, you can see Hornaday. He hit the grass and jumped back out across the track.
That's it. He got into that rumble strip and onto the grass. It threw him across the racing surface. Here's where Tom Hubert got tied up in it all. Watch this view from behind Archer. Hornaday into the grass.
Oh!
And Hornaday cuts it right across.
It don't look any better from any angle you look at it.
To get some help after the race, and he said, yeah, let's get somebody standing by. And we didn't want the official to say anything till later because we didn't want the other drivers to know it. But he's in good shape. He just hopped out.
They have the last set of corners here.
You got to be patient in this business. Stacy Compton won on April the 25th on the short track of Portland, Oregon.
Hensley right under Cook as they go in the corner, tried to get him, but he didn't get him.
But here in Topeka, Kansas, Stacy Compton becomes a repeat winner on the tour and a first-time road racing winner in his fifth. Oh, and around they go, very quickly taking out the cone. Brian Kubinski sends everybody scattering as they go through turn one for the day.
Oh, we got one almost in the tire barrier. Just comes down awfully hard there. Once he gets in the grass, it's kind of elementary. He's very, very lucky he didn't get hard into the wall here. These tire barriers do a lot of good, though, if you do get into them.
Series point leader Huffman, and there goes some more agricultural racing. This time it is Chad Nolting who does
several of the teams do this here. Remember, I told you earlier on, they only get to change 2 tires during the race. That's not counting flat.
Smoker right there trying to get the number off that. Oh, and we got a problem. 2, 3 cars spinning. back straightaway. We're going to go yellow right away. See if we can figure in front of this. Yeah, see, they're all dodging.
They're all dodging. Yeah, and you can. He had what is it? The 30 car. That's Rick Shepard. He had to get in oil because you see how all of a sudden the car just spun around on him. Nobody hit him. No nothing. So you can tell the 17 car must have been dropping some oil. Rick Shepard's the first one to get it. That's Chad Coleman there. He had already hit the wall on the right side. That's why you see sparks flying from underneath, and he's just spinning around. The roof flap comes up like it's supposed to try to slow the car down, and pieces are flying. That looks like the 42 car.
And the 21 of Bob Straight just sneaking through there.
Yeah, Tim Bainey was, I don't know if he got involved in it. He did spin.
Oh, he went head on into the wall.
The 72 car, Chad Coleman, must have gotten the oil. You can just see there's got to be oil because everybody's all of a sudden starting to slip and slide right where the oil was dropped.
Oh, he went head on into the wall. First track in Springfield, Illinois, very famous and very tough, too. Is coming off of turn number 4. John Herb's number 19, the 78 of Charles. Then Bill Baird gets together with the 06 of Dennis English. They both hit the inside and outside wall. Both drivers would be okay. Back behind this. Oh, there he is. Acted in pretty good.
Yeah, it just in the middle of 3 and 4, he was already sideways, right in the center of the corner because that's exiting turn 4. And
behind Mark Gibson, and they get traffic, and Steele doesn't see him.
They came up on the 18 car, Josh Baltes. Mark Gibson slowed up just a little. Tim Steele didn't see it happen, and by the time he realized it, he tried to go to the outside, got up against the wall, just spun, hit the outside wall, came across, and I'm not sure which car he hit.
I think it's Bob Dodds. Look, it's Steele up into that loose stuff and right into Dodds. Hammered the side of him.
Hammered him on the right side, got him up on 2 wheels, and then he spins and hits the inside retaining wall.
You can see as soon as Tim went up into the loose stuff, it all kicked up, and he lost all control of the stuff there, Bill.
He got, you can see all the trail behind him. That's just like extra tire rubber that's built up against the wall. And the minute he got up into that, the back end of the car started to come around, and it turned him sideways, shot him back across the racetrack, and he ran into the side of Bob Dodds.
I thought Dodds he had 2 problems. 1, I thought he was going to go over, and then 2, he was sitting dead in the water on the back. Oh, look at him fanning out. Oh, problems with Shelmerdine and Baltus. They get together. Shelmerdine through the grass, couldn't avoid the wall. They just won't turn into something there.
Yeah, Josh Baltus. Josh Baltus broke something on the start of the race, on the restart, or either missed a shift or broke something. Yeah, just kind of.
Oh, and then it looks like Kirk touched the 59 of Gibson.
Gibson, yeah. Not with that angle, we were able to see that. Shelmerdine went to go around the 18 of Josh Baltus, and sure enough, on the outside of him was. You got it. There it is.
Oh, Baird into the wall hard in turns 1 and 2.
You can see it just as he got into turn 1. The car just veered to the right. You saw smoke coming off the right front. Blew the right front tire.
And it was in his career, but never a victory. Slower traffic in front of him, but it's way down the back straightaway. They're probably going to come home clean. Kimmel trying to hold the line. He won't flip it through the corner this time. Finley dive into the bottom. Closing is Finley. Coming up on the inside. On the 4th turn to the checkered flag. Kimmel gets his 8th victory.
Then Dale Jarrett spun. A myriad of reasons why. Dennis Setzer found himself in the wall. Robert Presley had problems. Jeff Burton used up the Exide Ford. Dale Earnhardt doing the same. He's gone to a backup Goodwrench Service Plus Chevrolet. Ernie Irvin was the capper of the day, backing into the wall a short while ago. Why all the problems? Well,
looks like he got really up high.